they file at the county. So don't wait until it's too late. Find out if you are already a victim today. Please go to HomeTitleLock.com and use promo code BILL to get a free title history report, plus a free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection. On this Thursday, a glance at the descending television news ratings tells the story. Americans are exhausted by the constant battle between a desperate media and an angry president. Everything is now directed into the pain zone. That is, how can I use this against Trump, or on the other hand, against the corrupt press, which generally loathes him? Tedious. Did Trump send Epstein a birthday card 3 years before the criminal's profile was widely exposed? Who cares? Well, the press does, because the scenario might damage the president. What other reason would there be to obsess over this? Donald Trump understands the con. Ignore anything positive he does. Concentrate on trumping up negative things. They don't even have to be true. But you can't use the George Stephanopoulos wording, calling the president a rapist. That cost Disney about $20 million all in. Stephen Colbert said the president should F himself on Monday night. Nice. Not unusual, as Tom Jones once sang. But it was predictable. Andrew Jackson would have shot Colbert a long time ago. Most Americans are fed up with the game, I believe. Tuning out, tired of contrived nonsense. So consumer dissent is growing. Even so, things are not likely to change. Too bad for the nation. Back in a moment. Feeling tired, foggy, or low on energy? Your cells might need a boost. That's why many turn to NAD+, a powerful product that supports energy and mental clarity. All Family Pharmacy offers fast shipping, no insurance needed, with more than 200 medications available. Choose what you need, and they'll take care of the rest. Go to allfamilypharmacy, one word, .com/Bill. Use code BILL10 to save 10% today. That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
From the Michael's Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
I'm meteorologist Leah Hill with your first alert forecast. Afternoon temperatures nearing 98 degrees under mostly sunny skies. And it's just going to feel hotter. Once you factor in that humidity, which is high today, it'll feel more like 105 degrees to 110 degrees. That is the heat index. Keep in mind, it's calculated in the shade, which means in direct sunlight, it's going to feel even hotter. Please limit time outdoors. That's your first alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Leah Hill.
What's happening today? Here's your first dose of the news you need to know. This is Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
She will collect you with the carnal stare while you're suspended there. She evaluates your heart's condition. She's in no hurry, but she makes good time. She'll sabotage your mind, transforms your taste and clouds your decision. She'll sympathize and clear a path through the maze in a pathetic
This is the best of Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
All right, the Republican Party's new talking points are in place. I'm already seeing the pattern. Will conservatives buy into them? If Stell were here, he would be pointing out the Uniparty.
Yes.
So will conservatives buy into them? And then also here, the left in Missouri loves ballot measures until they might lose one. In that case, they don't want you to vote on stuff.
Never.
We've got a little better picture of how our government wants to approach artificial intelligence. So here's the question. How is that going to affect your life, your business, your kids' school, all of those things? We're going to get into that in a little more depth right around 6:35 with the experts from NetChoice. Hey, good morning. Mike Ferguson here. Thanks for making News Talk STL part of this Thursday morning. A lot going on, especially in the state of Missouri. Obviously, the state Supreme Court made a ruling regarding the taxes on cannabis and marijuana, but it's really not just about that. It's also about the We're going to get into that in a little more depth right around 6:35 with the experts from NetChoice. Hey, good morning. Mike Ferguson here. Thanks for making News Talk STL part of this Thursday morning. A lot going on, especially in the state of Missouri. Obviously, the state Supreme Court made a ruling regarding the taxes on, say.
The Missouri Supreme Court issues a ruling yesterday that you would think is a technical wonky thing, but I think it actually points to a bigger issue here. We're now joined by former Missouri Speaker of the House, Tim Jones, who happens to have graduated to bigger and greater things like hosting News Talk STL's afternoon show with Chris Harps here. Tim, okay, so let's talk about the mechanics of this first, and then I want to get into why this is a reflection of some of the bigger picture that's going on. So what was happening is after we amended the Missouri Constitution to allow recreational cannabis, the local governments were allowed to put a 3% tax, and they all basically piled on to start doing it. And in some cases, the taxes were, 6% and stacked. And the Supreme Court said, you can't do that. There was a lot of ambiguity in the constitutional amendment, but what's the Supreme Court basically saying with this ruling in Missouri?
Well, Mike, you're right. It does point to the bigger picture, and that's that we should not be attempting to legislate through the mob democracy constitutional provision of initiative petitions, right? Because when you have wherever you are on this issue, whether you agree that we should allow the stacking of taxes on marijuana products or not, and the Supreme Court has now stated that it's unconstitutional to stack taxes, and I'm fine with that. The less taxes we have, the better. But that belies the point, which is that look how torturous this was to deal with this. It had to go all the way through the entire court process, and all the court has done was address maybe just one of the flaws in the 60-page petition that no one read except industry experts when Missourians voted in the wide use of marijuana. And to prove my point that this is not really a marijuana thing, there was many people in the pro-marijuana world that were adamantly opposed to this because they knew that there would be issues like this that would come down the pike, and they would not be able to be addressed directly by the legislature. You have to go through a torturous judicial proceeding. And so although some may be hailing this as a lesser taxes is better for all of us ruling, you're missing the point, because once again, we're seeing that the legislature is being circumvented largely by well-moneyed, out-of-state, generally left-leaning interests.
Morning, Tim. Gabe here. So we were kind of discussing also just the shortcomings of having this sort of, and I like to call it sort of a safety valve on the representational government, so the people can ask for things. They can kind of go, I guess, over the heads of the legislature that they voted in. And I think that's okay in general. But like you said, with the big money and special interest, people can be duped. Do the IP reforms that are currently on the table that hopefully will get through at some point, do they actually...
Don't count on it.
Yeah, don't count on it, right? How well do they tamp down on those possibilities? Aren't we still going to be subject to the big money coming in?
Perhaps, but they're going to have to work a lot harder. Look, first of all, not everybody does think that mob democracy is a good idea. More than half of the states in our union do not have this process. So for all the left, at all. If they have it, they only allow it through the legislature. Right. As it should be, right? Because we have a constitutional representative republic, not a mob rule, fad rule, whatever is the happy subject of the day kind of rule nation. And so why this was put in the Missouri Constitution in the first place, I don't know. I don't understand. Missouri tends to be generally representative democracy on just about everything else. And why this was inserted at whatever point it was is beyond me, and no one's ever been able to explain the reason to me. I guess I guess like you said, Gabe, it was supposed to be only in urgent circumstances, which means shouldn't the threshold be higher? If this was something that was supposed to be an issue where the people could make a decision on something that was really, 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 really vitally important to Missouri, and there was no way that the legislature was ever going to deal with it, ultra popular with the people, our current provision allows 51, right? Well, 50% plus 1 equals the fad of the day.
There was probably an assumption of a consensus, when it comes to this initiative petition referendum process. 50% plus 1 is not a consensus by any stretch of the imagination. And 50% plus 1, though, is something that professionals in the establishment can say, 50% plus 1 of a vote costs this much money. We can buy part of our state constitution, which is really what we're seeing right now. So is there a balance to say we can have that check and balance of the people directly versus the representatives, but it's got to be higher than 50% plus 1? Or is it just a bad idea to have anything on a referendum process that's in theory citizen initiative petition driven?
Well, I think it's just a bad idea, but I also live in reality, and I know that you're not going to be able to completely remove this from the Constitution, despite the fact that, as I pointed out, over half the states in the union do not have this process. So are over half the states in our country non-democratic, right? Do they defy the will of the people? I guess that would be the argument of the left. And there's blue states and there's red states that don't have this process. But okay, we do have this process. So to answer Gabe's question, yes, the provisions that are under consideration, they would maintain the mechanisms of the process. They would simply make it so only those provisions that I don't know if you want to go to a supermajority status, but more than the fad of the day, right? So many of the things that have been discussed have been the concurrent majority, right? So you would have to have 50% plus 1 plus 5 of 8 of the congressional districts pass it as well. So then you're not just being ruled by whatever the populist leftist choice of the day is in St. Louis and Kansas City. And so you can maintain the process, but you can make it a touch harder to amend our Constitution. Shouldn't that how it be? Look, if you want to amend the statutes, did you know we have a statutory referendum provision as well? And that is not going to be altered. And so if you want to amend the statutes, which whatever the flavor of the day issue is, then go for it. But shouldn't our Constitution be a bit more sacred of a document so we aren't shoving things like bingo and marijuana legalization and Medicaid expansion and the transing of kids into our Constitution, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, those things do not belong in it. So what you've done is you've created a process now where only big moneyed interests are able to basically dictate and guide the state, and they do it deceptively. That's the other thing. There's no provisions around whether or not the ballot summaries have to actually tell the truth or not. And so if you have enough tens of millions of dollars and you're willing to lie, cheat, steal, and deceive your way to a ballot proposition and cloak it in all kinds of ballot candy and tell people that really all they're voting for are more pink fluffy unicorns, then people are going to vote yes every single time. And I'm sorry, I will bet whatever you want to throw on the table that most of the Missourians who voted for the marijuana proposition did not read the 68 plus page single space type front and back actual proposition. And to my point, big marijuana pushed this, but what we would call as little marijuana, the little mom and pop shops, they were adamantly opposed to it. And again, a final analogy here. Explain to me why every single election cycle, a supermajority of Missourians have now elected representatives and senators that say no abortion, anytime, anywhere, anyhow, and definitely no transing of kids. But yet a majority of Missourians voted to do just that and place it into our Constitution. So do people not know who they're voting for, or do people not know what they're voting for? One of those things has to be true, I would argue.
Absolutely, and I think it's kind of both. Yeah, essentially. Now, where are we on the kind of the balancing act with the initiative petition reform and the Amendment 3 fix?
Yeah, because that's in the courts right now, and my understanding, Tim, and I'm gonna tap into your lawyer side of this here, is that who gets to make the rulings is what's in question at the moment, while we frankly try to drag our feet before we get an Amendment 3 fix on the ballot.
Yeah, I don't know what the Supreme Court is up to these days. I don't know why they just don't make the rulings. So there's two things to make this even more complicated. There's two things going on right now. There is a series of litigation pending on the Amendment 3 that the voters voted on in 2024, last year, right? That barely passed 1.5 or 6% at the ballot box. And now when you ask people, did you know that the transing of kids was in that Amendment 3? They go, no, it wasn't. And then you can point them to the provision that says that it now becomes permissible. So that is ongoing. All that litigation, as we predicted, is ongoing under the Amendment 3 that was passed last year. There's now, fellas, a new Amendment 3. Why they call that someone has a sixth sense of humor somewhere in our government. So HJR 73, which was, of course, moved through the process most excellently by Senator Adam Schnelting right here in our region. He handled it on the Senate side. And that the House was going to pass anything on this issue, right, to try to fix the bad Amendment 3. We knew the heavy lift would be in the Senate. Senator Adam Schnelting, a first-term senator, was able to convince the Senate to finally do something it hadn't done in 5 years, and that was move the previous question on things important to Republicans that they all ran for and that they all promised they would do. And so HJR 73 moved through the process. It was approved by both chambers back in May. Now it will be on the ballot if it survives all these legal challenges next year in 2026. That, of course, is already under legal fire. The ACLU has already filed suit. No surprise there. So you have two separate tracks of litigation going on, one on the old Amendment 3 and one on the newly proposed Amendment 3.
All right, 314-912-1019. That's one of the ways to get involved in the conversation. And how about this a little bit later on today? This is interesting. One of the rideshare companies wants to allow drivers to say, no, I am not going to do business with a guy, with a dude. If he's a dude, I don't want it. Is that okay? I mean, try doing that with any other demographic out there. Once you get the details, curious what you have to say about that. We're going to talk about that a little bit later on today, right here on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
So many ways to listen to News Talk STL.
Join the conversation. All you have to do is say,
Hey Alexa, play News Talk STL.
Welcome to News Talk STL, conservative talk radio for St. Louis.
Mike Ferguson here. Retirement should be a time you can relax. No more stress from work. But there's one thing you can't forget about when retiring. That's your money. Do you have enough saved to fund your income for life and keep up with inflation? How will you claim your Social Security benefits? And what about long-term care? The ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel is here to help answer all of these questions. You can hear their latest views on the markets and investing during On the Money, hosted by Stifel financial advisors Bob Stockdale and Eric Robert, every Saturday morning at 9, right here on News Talk STL. They can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com. Or call 636-695-2650, 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
Is diabetes keeping you from enjoying life's special moments? At US Med, we understand the challenges you face, and we're here to help.
With US Med, I can finally manage my diabetes without it managing me.
US Med offers a wide range of services to simplify your diabetes care. Personalized care plans, convenient access to cutting-edge diabetes tech, and knowledgeable support. Plus, we'll check your insurance so your diabetes care may be covered at little or no cost to you.
With US Med, I feel confident and control of my diabetes. I can finally live my life to the fullest.
Don't let diabetes hold you back. Choose US Med and experience better birthdays, better adventures, better anniversaries, and better everything. Call now. US Med. Better service, better care. 800-515-2380. 800-515-2380. 800-515-2380. That's 800-515-2380.
Agree
I think conservatives have it wrong.
or disagree.
I couldn't agree with you more.
The conversation happens here.
I agree with you on Trump.
I'm shaking my head.
I'm one of your liberal Democratic listeners, and I don't get why any of this even matters.
Because your voice matters.
Everybody told him he couldn't do it, and then he did do it. That's what you got to do. You got to play hardball.
I want to hear what people think and be able to talk about it.
1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning.
All right, as time rolls on, it is looking more and more like that Missouri special legislative session, the one they called just to give away money to the sports teams. Yeah, it looks like that may have been a big mistake and a big unnecessary giveaway of our money.
Of course.
Okay, let's see our shocked faces. There it is. All right. Okay, so a little bit here in the 7 o'clock, right around, I think around 7:30. Let me just kind of put this up there for everybody because I suspect a lot of people will want to give their thoughts on that way on this. There is so much freaking stuff in the news regarding anything related to Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to quote Nikki Haley, but chaos follows him around. That's not all his fault. Okay, to be fair, that is not all of it. Some of it he brings on. A lot of it is just, people who hate Donald Trump. Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm going through all the stories. I said, I could do a 3.5-hour show just based on all of the intense stuff around Donald Trump. We're not doing that. But I think at 7:35, I'm going to try to go through all of it, bring everybody up to date. And then, of course, we'll go around the room. But let me know which of the headlines either has you the most fired up or the most pissed off, and what do you think about it? Send us a note. We'll build all of that in to the conversation. But let's tell you right now, we're going to do that like a little bit late. We got to run up to that. We got to get some coffee. We've got to kind of, we kind of have to brace ourselves for that. You got everything from the Epstein files. You got the birthright citizenship situation. You got AI. I mean, you've got all kinds of stuff that's happening. It's just almost overwhelming.
Yeah, it's not even 6 a.m. yet. We have to give them a chance to wake up.
Precisely. Okay, so let's talk about what happened here with the Chiefs and the Royals. And I saw this article on Missouri Net. And the Chiefs and the Royals, of course, now where the Chiefs are in preseason training in St. Joseph. And so the president of the team, Mark Donovan's up there, and they're asking, hey, what's the update on where are you going to go? What are you going to do? And they still will not commit to staying in Missouri, despite the hundreds of millions of dollars of our money that our state government is offering them.
Yeah, that's... Oh, no,
Yeah.
we are not the backup pick-me girl.
Right.
We are not the runners-up. We are the ones that are actively, and I mean, we didn't really get a say, per se, but our government is actively trying to make the stay here as comfortable as possible for you.
Right.
And you can't just say, oh, thank you so much. You guys clearly care about our team, so we'll stay here.
Right. And the state of Kansas is offering, frankly, a little more but then it's more complicated to build a new stadium. And they basically are saying, well, we got these two offers. We're going to take our time and make a business decision on this. And here's the thing. Both states have said, we want an answer. Kansas at one point had said, here's the deadline. We'll make the offer. And the Kansas City Chiefs told Kansas, you're going to extend that. We'll tell you on our time. Basically, the Chiefs told the governor and the legislature, here's what you're going to do. You're going to come back in the special session. You're going to offer us all this money. And so they fell into line from a pro sports team owned by billionaires, did what they were told. And now the teams, the Chiefs are basically saying, okay, I'll let you know if that's good enough. That's essentially what they're doing right now. And the Royals have not really said much of anything, so they haven't given an answer either.
You got to put them on a deadline. I mean,
they were on deadlines, and they told, no, we're the billionaire sports team. You're just the representatives of all the people. We will tell you what to do.
Yeah. And so because we've had reports of people that actually live in the Missouri side of Kansas City, saying that the people here are not thrilled about this either. So who out there really is going to be crying inconsolable tears if we just say, you know what, we've done everything we can. We extended the deadline. We made you an offer that are making people in Missouri mad. Either pick a pot and squat or accept our offer. I mean, that's really where you're at right now. All this is doing is losing them favor among us, and then also making us shake our fist at Governor Kehoe right now.
That's right. Let's because there are lots of things Governor Kehoe is doing very well. I mean, he's doubling down on school choice. He's doing a lot of stuff very, very well. So 620, let's dig into this just a little bit more, because right now, all those Republicans who bucked the establishment and voted no on this, it wasn't enough of them, but the ones who did, they're looking pretty smart right now. They really are. Okay, coming up on 5:56. So we got 2 minutes left, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'm gonna have this in the news dump here in just a couple of minutes. You love the critters.
Yeah,
I love the critters. In Franklin County, critters need some help.
Oh,
okay. So the Franklin County Humane Society, which is a separate, independent nonprofit group down there, animal shelter, they're having trouble with their air conditioning.
Ooh,
and I don't know if anybody's noticed, it's freaking hot this week.
Yeah.
So part of their building has air conditioning. Part of their building does not have air conditioning. They are moving the doggos and the kittens into places that have the air conditioning. And they are asking for basically anybody to come help foster, even if it's 1 day at a time. So if you can't commit to keeping something for weeks or months, they're like, but can you take the pupper or the doggo today and go play with them and take them in your house or whatever? They're even looking for that.
Yeah. So I would highly, anybody that has been considering possibly even getting a pet, fostering is a great way to get to learn the basics of handling pets. And a lot of these pets are not going to be crazy, you know, death row sort of inmates. They're just animals that need love. So anybody that can help out, please help out.
And they've reduced the adoption fees for the dogs. According to their website, I was looking just a little bit ago. They are reducing it to $50.
Okay.
Which is next to nothing.
Yeah.
Exactly. So hopefully they'll get the air conditioning figured out in the next day or two. But at one point, like one of the news articles I read on it, they're like, yeah, we've got some of the cats hanging out in like the bathtub, because that's where the air conditioning is. So they're trying to do that, and they hope to get that back up and running soon. But in the meantime, you got the day off. You want to play with a pupper? Hey, go check them out and go get them, even just for the day. That sounds like the perfect day off.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Jamie Allman here with my common sense brother, Rob Very, owner of STL Bath and Renovation. And let me tell you something, your home is your castle, but so is your bathroom. Rob, how can you make it beautiful?
Jamie, if you're tired of cleaning, you love the tile, but you hate the grout, we can give you man-made or natural stone in your bathroom for your floors and walls, but no grout. Easy to maintain.
And beautiful. All kinds of selections as well.
More than you can count.
STLBR.com, St. Louis Bath and Renovation, STLBR.com. Thanks, Rob.
Thanks, Jamie.
Hey, if you're 50 or older, you do not want to take any risk with your money. In fact, you want Leslie Consulting. My friend Bob Leslie can show you a gain and retain plan. It means that you never lose. Plus, you get up to a 20% bonus on day one. Leslie Consulting, a leader in brokerage and risk management. 314-721-0066. LeslieConsulting.com.
Who needs a vacation? Are you ready for an unforgettable getaway? Start packing your bags because Branson, Missouri, the vacation and entertainment capital of the U.S., is calling your name. For just $99 per person, here's what you get. A full 3-day, 2-night stay in a luxury resort hotel, a delicious full breakfast buffet every morning you're here, and when you call right now, free show tickets worth up to $100. That's right, free show tickets to an award-winning show on us. You don't have to leave the country for an amazing vacation. You can drive or fly to Branson and have an incredible time. Whether you bring in the whole family or just planning a romantic escape, this trip is built for you. We guarantee you'll love Branson. This is not a timeshare. It's just an unbeatable vacation deal for only $99 per person. You book now, you can use your tickets anytime this year. You don't even need to know your travel dates to lock in the special price. Hurry, because this offer won't last long. Call our Branson vacation experts today.
800-547-5331. 800-547-5331. 800-547-5331. That's 800-547-5331.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Belfast, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at NewsTalkSTL.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. The Trump administration is pursuing the origins of the Russia collusion hoax, and some high-ranking Obama administration officials, even the former president himself, are the target of some serious allegations.
Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard Wednesday released a previously classified House report, her second such disclosure after accusing the intelligence community of a, quote, treasonous conspiracy in its review of foreign influence in the 2016 election.
President Obama directed an intelligence community assessment to be created to further this contrived false narrative.
The report, a 2020 product from the House Intelligence Committee, casts doubt on Russian President Vladimir Putin's interest in the 2016 election and his desire to aid President Trump in the contest. Bernie Bennett, Washington.
And former President Obama's office calls the allegations against Mr. Obama bizarre, ridiculous, and a weak attempt at distraction. Recent federal appeals court ruling opens the door to private contractors overseeing federal illegal immigration detention centers.
Judges issued a 2-1 ruling to overturn the New Jersey ban, which means CoreCivic can continue operating the state's Elizabeth Detention Center. CoreCivic is facing a similar battle in Kansas after the company was blocked from housing illegal immigrants in ICE custody. The ruling comes as the Trump administration seeks to crack down on illegal immigration, and some have suggested privatizing federal immigration detentions will help increase the speed of removals. Tasha Stevens reporting.
An appeals court has ruled President Trump's attempt to end birthright citizenship unconstitutional. 49 passengers, 6 crew members on board a plane that crashed and burned in eastern Russia today near the border with China. No relief yet for parts of the South and the Midwest. People there suffering through a deadly heat wave. On Wall Street, Dow futures down 187 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
This is Dennis Prager for AmFed Coin and Bullion. There's something about the feel of a gold coin in your hand and the way the light reflects off its intricate details that has always captivated me. Nick Grovich, AmFed's owner, turned that same passion into his livelihood. Nick began collecting coins as a teen, and that interest grew into a nationally respected business offering only the finest quality coins at the most competitive prices. But the truth is that although Nick is a rare coin dealer, he doesn't believe in rare coins. Rare coins do not make sound investments, but they do make dealers a lot of money. See, that's part of what I respect about him. AmFed specializes in buying non-performing numismatic coins and turning them into gold or silver investments that provide liquidity and perform competitively against the market. Whether you're buying or selling, call 800-221-7694. That's 800-221-7694. American Federal.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
I'm meteorologist Leah Hill with your first alert forecast. Afternoon temperatures nearing 98 degrees under mostly sunny skies, and it's just going to feel hotter. Once you factor in that humidity, which is high today, it'll feel more like 105 degrees to 110 degrees. That is the heat index. Keep in mind, it's calculated in the shade, which means in direct sunlight, it's going to feel even hotter. Please limit time outdoors. That's your first alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Leah Hill.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by Chris Cooper and Serenity Wealth Management. Discover little-known strategies that could be the difference between choosing the care you deserve or having someone else decide it for you. Get a free copy of Chris's book at serenityltc.com.
Tony Colombo here for All Solutions Pest Control, the team Christine and I trust to protect our home. We've used multiple services at multiple homes over the years, and I can tell you from all that experience, All Solutions is second to none. If you have a pest problem of any kind, or more importantly, just want to prevent a problem, All Solutions is the team to call. Learn more and take advantage of their incredible $67 introductory offer right now at allsolutionspestcontrol.com.
If a pest-free home is your goal, call All Solutions Pest Control.
Tired of the same old pizza chains? Boring. Want a delicious alternative? Look no further. Woodson Stonefire has you covered, offering a delicious, mouth-watering alternative with a wide menu that surely offers something for everyone's taste. Our pizza will have you saying wow. Family-owned and operated in addition to being locally owned. Pizza is truly our passion. Woodson Stonefire, 3120 West Clay in St. Charles. Call 636-493-0532 to place your order now.
If you have a phone, you have a radio.
Yes, I listen on my phone.
Download the all-new News Talk STL app.
Love the all-new NewsTalk STL app.
It is awesome.
And listen anytime.
Love the News Talk STL app.
Anywhere. Mike Ferguson.
When they say it like that, you know they mean business.
Gabe Phifer.
He has great hair.
Get up, St. Louis.
You're not talking to Bambi's baby brother here.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Get up, this is your cousin.
All right, will they stay or will they go now? Pro sports teams are doing the corporate welfare dance, and they are doing it with your money. And by the way, when I say the corporate welfare dance, I'm not referring to jazz or ballet. When I say they're doing the corporate welfare dance with your money, I'm thinking of like that club with the pole. That's what I'm thinking of. Okay. Because I think that's the level of morality that we are at this point.
Anybody got one of those dollar bill guns?
That's right. Exactly.
Make it rain.
You know what? That's right. Because taxpayers making it rain. We're the taxpayers. We are represented by the government, who's the dummy sitting in the front row saying, "I think she likes me."
Yep, that's it.
That's what we are right now. All right. Also, a judge says no to releasing some Epstein case information. A Republican leader says they're trying to release more information, but the administration is not releasing more information. So, okay, so what are we supposed to believe? We have to tackle that at some point here.
Yes.
But not gonna dwell on it. I'm not sure there's a whole lot that's new to say, but there are some new elements to the development of the story.
They're going through a lot of effort to get files regarding a hoax.
Oh, I know, precisely. I mean, geez. Also, some shelter critters need your help right now because it's hot.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. 6:06. Let's go ahead and dump some news on here.
The Morning News Dump, brought to you by Common Sense Rentals. The Morning News Dump.
Are you joking? Is this a joke?
Listen, folks.
The Morning News Dump.
And by the way, just fair warning, guys. I'm in a weird mood.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying. It's not good. It's not bad. It's just a
weird.
It's a Thursday weird. It's like the weekend it was within reach, but it's not here yet.
A little too far.
I know. Okay. So I'm just I don't know what's going to come out right now in the next 3 hours. Okay.
We're here for you, Mike.
All right. Thank you. All right.
Get the dump button ready.
Okay. Despite hundreds of millions of dollars being offered by the state government, the Kansas City Chiefs still will not commit to staying in Missouri. So 620, I'm going to go into more depth on this. Team president Mark Donovan says they are still weighing the offers from Missouri and from Kansas, both of which are offering hundreds of millions of dollars. Frankly, this is going to go well over $1 billion for each team in public funds for stadium projects. Missouri's would upgrade Arrowhead Stadium, and Kansas's would fund most of the construction of a new stadium. And the Royals are basically keeping their mouth shut. So essentially, the pro sports teams have said, you will give us the money. We'll decide which pile of money to take, and you will like it, and we'll tell you what the decision is when we feel like it.
Right. Yeah.
So that's what we're going to be talking about here around 620, because I had some big problems with that special session. I don't want to sit here and say I told you so, But I told you
so.
Okay. All right. Republicans in Congress, of course, as you know, successfully passing that $9 billion rescission package, cutting funding for things like public broadcasting and a lot of the foreign aid. House Speaker Mike Johnson was on Fox Business's Kudlow last night saying, you know what? There are more cuts coming down the line.
We're planning Reconciliation 2.0 for the fall, and hopefully my plan is to have one again in the spring because you can attach one to each fiscal year.
Okay, that's great.
Okay.
Let's do better than $9 billion.
Yeah, you need to.
Yeah.
Not 900 would barely scratch the surface.
Yeah.
I mean, well, it would get us halfway there.
Here's what I don't want. Here's what I don't want is, hey, another $9 billion. And all the Republicans like, look, we're following through, even though they've added $3 trillion to the debt.
Right.
And say, give us applause for this performance art. Let's look at what Elon Musk did with Doge and say, let's take a huge bite.
Yes.
And really follow through. That $9 billion, as good as it is, that's an appetizer.
Yeah, seriously. Remember,
that was an hors d'oeuvre.
The total budget shortfall is $1.8 trillion. So in order to have a significant impact and to say, okay, we did our due diligence, I want half of that. Give me half of it.
That's right.
I want $1 trillion. You're only $9 billion towards that right now.
Right.
You're going to need to step it up with these next couple of reconciliation bills.
Not that I don't appreciate the $9 billion.
Yeah,
$9 billion is better than nothing, but look at that as a momentum builder.
Right.
Show me you're serious about this, because I think there was a lot of pressure. The Republicans are like, hey, I think voters meant it in November. We better deliver something. So voters, we need to say, hey, thumbs up on that. Not enough. Keep going. All right. St. Louis City Sheriff Alfred
Loaded Dice
Montgomery makes another controversial decision. He has hired Sonia Jenkins Gray to be the department's new head of human resources. Now, normally that is not something that makes the news. He hired a new HR person because that's a legitimate position.
Sure.
Right? But Jenkins Gray used to be the director of personnel for the city and was fired by then Mayor Tashara Jones after kind of a controversy. Jenkins Gray has an active lawsuit against the city over that. And she's also a member of the newly appointed state oversight board for the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department. Now, that's a separate department from the sheriff's office, but she's on the police oversight board. She's suing the city. She's actually married to a Marxist activist.
Oh, wow.
And now she's the head of HR for the sheriff's department, while the sheriff is in the process of being removed by the attorney general.
Oh, what a mess.
It's good.
How can somebody be such a mess so early on in the job?
I mean, there are writers of soap operas that are looking at this situation going, man, that is crazy. Nobody's going to believe that.
That's too much stuff.
No,
man. You can't, you got to spread it out a little bit at least.
Come on, guys. All right. National Intelligence Director Tulsi Gabbard announcing the release of new documents in the investigation into the Obama administration's intelligence leaders who accused then presidential candidate Donald Trump of colluding with Russia to win the 2016 election. You remember Russia, the Russia collusion hoax. Gabbard was on Fox's Jesse Waters primetime, and she says Washington wanted to keep the then President Trump out of power right from the start.
To undermine the legitimacy of President Trump, to subvert the will of the American people who had just voted to elect Donald Trump in 2016, and to, in essence, launch this years-long coup against President Trump that lasted throughout the 4 years of his administration.
Okay, so Gabbard has sent a criminal referral to the Justice Department, asking them to begin a prosecution process. Whether that happens remains to be seen. I will pretty much, if I were a gambler, I would bet on there will not be charges against Barack Obama himself, but there may be some sacrificial lambs, a couple rungs below him that may get caught up in that.
Yeah, they're going first.
Yep. All right. A federal judge refuses to allow the release of transcripts from a grand jury proceeding regarding the Jeffrey Epstein case. The Trump administration, through the Justice Department, filed a motion requesting that release. The DOJ still has many other files related to the Epstein case that have not been released at this point. It's not a big surprise to me that the judge did not allow that. Some of that may be politics, but grand jury hearings generally by law are secret.
Yeah. And of course, you're asking a lot for them to unseal by law secret things, because that's a heavier lift than I think what we're actually asking for.
Yeah, so it's I I guess I appreciate the effort, but I think they probably knew that wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
So we'll get into that just a little bit later here as well. All right. We're going to talk about this at 6:35 in a little more depth here. President Donald Trump unveiling his artificial intelligence action plan at the Winning the AI Race Summit event in Washington, D.C. He says artificial intelligence must not provide biased political opinions.
The American people do not want woke Marxist lunacy in the AI models, and neither do other countries. They don't want it. They don't want anything to do with it.
I don't know why he thinks anything like that would social media, right?
You mean
that
like
happens a lot.
how it's been going?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would never happen except for all the other times it's happened in other technology. Okay, the action plan contains measures that the president says protects freedom of speech and freedom of expression to align with American values. The Department of Commerce is directed to research any possible Chinese influence in certain AI models. This is a really big deal. It's technical and wonky, but it really matters. We're going to break it down and explain what it means to you at 6:35 here. All right, let's see what's going on here as my pages stick together. Okay, here we go. All right, we just mentioned this, Gabe. The Franklin County Humane Society needs help because the air conditioning is not working in a big part of their building right now while we have a big heat wave going on.
That's kind of a problem.
Yeah, so they brought in fans. They're moving the critters into as many parts of the building where the AC is still working as they can, but they're asking for foster homes to help out. They say even fostering just for a day or two at a time would be a big help right now, at least while they're trying to get the AC up and running. So if you want to get more information about that, go to FCHSMO. So Franklin County Humane Society, FCHSMO.org. All right, Cardinals dropped the series to the Rockies, losing 2 of the 3 games. That includes Wednesday's 6-0 loss. Birds are back at home tonight to play the Padres. Sonny Gray gets the start. He is going to try for his 10th win of the season. This is a 6:45 first pitch.
Making cold mind to fight your war. Stop it right now. I have had enough of this. Turn my eyes to you.
Mike Ferguson in the morning.
I've driven all over Washington, D.C. I cannot find the money tree.
On NewsTalkSTL.
Can't you hear the
Jamie Allman here, tossing and turning over retirement worries. You're not alone. 3 out of 4 Americans share your concern about having enough saved. But here's the thing. A comfortable retirement isn't out of reach, even if you're planning for 30 or 40 years ahead. Every day, Jeff Portman from the Gemini Wealth Group helps people avoid the critical mistakes that can derail their retirement. Build your path to financial confidence. Visit GeminiWealthGroup.com or call Jeff directly at 314-888-0123.
Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor. Member FINRA SIPC.
Hi, Mark Harder here. We all know that the hardest part of staying healthy is dragging yourself to the gym. I felt the same way, but I knew I needed to find a routine I could actually stick to. I recently discovered Alloy Personal Training, and I have been blown away by their approach. At Alloy, each session is different. They never have more than 6 people in a class, which allows me to get the attention I need. Right now, Alloy is giving away free 14-day trials with 2 locations in Baldwin and 1 in Wildwood. Visit alloypersonaltraining.com. Hope to see you in my next session.
This is the story of the one. He's responsible for keeping a leading healthcare facility clean and safe. And he trusts Grainger's high-quality HVAC cleaning and safety products, combined with their world-class supply chain, to consistently deliver, ensuring he's covered inside and out, so he can focus on keeping his facility clean to help protect the health of everyone inside. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
During tax season, your personal info travels to a lot of places you can't control. Between payroll, your home office, your tax preparer, and the IRS, if your W-2 gets exposed, that's just the ticket for identity thieves. That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points every second. If your identity's stolen, they'll fix it guaranteed or your money back. Don't let identity thieves take you for a ride. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code CLAY. Visit LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
This hour of Mike Ferguson in the Morning is brought to you by Stifel. Request a portfolio review from your Stifel financial advisor at Stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
Hey, this is Vince Colonnese. I'll talk to you tonight at 8. But now back to the Mike Ferguson in the Morning Show on News Talk STL.
All right. Will the corporate welfare work? I mean, that's essentially what the state government is waiting with bated breath to find out on the Missouri side.
Mm-hmm.
The sports ball teams will let us know when they feel like it. Oh, gosh. I think that's what makes me that's part of what makes me so angry about this. One, it's the bad policy decision.
Yes.
And
it's not good economics.
The Republican majority made a really bad mistake at that special session. I mean, I appreciate the Republicans who voted against it. But the fact of the matter is they got basically bullied by the Kansas City Chiefs and to some degree the Royals. But honestly, not as many people care about the Kansas City Royals as they do the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, let's be honest about this.
Yeah, they're making us look like a bunch of nerds right now.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Simply nerds.
So here are the basic details. It's 6:19 right now. And I saw the article on Missouri Net. It was actually written by a radio reporter up in St. Joseph because that's where the Chiefs are doing their preseason training, as they always do in St. Joseph. And so they managed to talk to the Chiefs team president, Mark Donovan. And they said, hey, what's the answer on this decision? You staying in Kansas City or you going over to Kansas? What's going on? And Mark Donovan said, well, we're still pouring over the details. We're still making a business decision. We're humbled by the commitment from both sides of the state line. You're not humbled at squat, dude.
Humbled.
Listen, if you're still an NFL fan, and I get it. I was a big football fan for a really, really, really long time. Until they went all woke and left wing. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm walking away from my beloved Steelers and the NFL. And I haven't looked back. And you know what I found? I found that I could live just fine without football. And then of course the Battlehawks come into town and I'm all about them.
Absolutely.
But here's the thing is let's recap. The Kansas City Chiefs basically told the governor, you will order the legislature back into session. You will give us a public financing plan. And it will be at least this much.
And do it by this time.
And you will do it by this time. They did essentially the same thing to Kansas, although Kansas said, okay, we're gonna approve those bonds to put that money up that you want. But here's the deadline that we need an answer. And so they did it. And by the way, Kansas is basically offering to build them a new stadium, them and the Royals.
Yeah, it's a really sweetheart deal that they're
they're offering more of a giveaway than what Missouri is, and Missouri is offering way too much. And the Chiefs went and told the Kansas legislature, "You're going to change your deadline because we told you to."
Yeah,
and they did it.
We need more time to think about it.
Yeah, it's like, we'll do this on our time, not yours. And between the two states, you've got billions of dollars of taxpayers' money being offered up by the government. Not us, because the one time that the people were asked to vote on this, and it was in Kansas City, in Jackson County, they said no.
Yeah, we'll pass on the new tax.
Yeah,
bye, Felicia.
That's what I say.
Yep.
I say, don't let the door hit you on the way out, or do. I don't care. It's your butt, not mine. And here's the thing is there's the bad policy decision. I keep going back to when Patrick Toohey from the Show Me Institute was on the show with us. And he made such a great point. And I wish I'd come up with the line, but he did. I can't take credit for it. He goes, you may love your team, but they don't love you back.
Yeah, that's right.
And that is so true. This is a business. And if you're a business and you can go tell somebody else to just give you money to pad your bottom line, why wouldn't you do it?
Right. Of course.
So is it fully their fault, or is it the fault of the politicians who are saying, well, they told us to? They're threatening to leave if we don't give them all that money.
It's crazy.
Yeah. I agree entirely that I don't necessarily blame them in the sense the teams
from a business perspective,
because I'm sure anybody in that situation that has maybe not the people, but two different jurisdictions offering them goodies and incentives just to relocate what they already have. But at the same time, we didn't vote for our representatives to behave this way.
Exactly.
It was supposed to be the opposite. So.
And there are a lot of the Republicans who voted against this who are looking really smart right now.
Yeah.
The Freedom Caucus is looking pretty smart right now.
Yeah.
They are once again saying, we were right. We told you so.
You know that meme of like the Indian guy in the stands? He just got his hands on his
Yeah,
hip, and he's just looking, is like, really? Like, that's what I feel like the Freedom Caucus is looking at the rest of the legislature.
This is almost advanced glance level.
It's advanced glance
yeah,
moment. Yes.
It is. But I saw, for instance, on social media a couple weeks ago when this sort of thing was sort of percolating, State Representative Phil Olerking, who's been on the show a number of times, and he just said, I feel much better about my no vote on this. Yeah, you should, Phil.
Oh, yeah.
You were right when you said no on this. And there's the bad policy, like I said, and now there's the arrogance of the team saying, this is all on our terms and our timeline. We've got a business decision to make, and we'll tell you hundreds of millions, billions of dollars of our money, and you're going to still tell us how it's going to be. Listen, at this point, I couldn't care less if the Chiefs decide to move to Salt Lake City or the Royals decide to go to Nashville. I don't care.
Yeah.
You know, the Heartland Institute and many others show that economically it actually evens out and people just spend their entertainment dollars in other ways. But there's a civic pride in Kansas City. So basically, we're all being instructed to subsidize Kansas City's ego.
Yeah, let the Royals go and convert that stadium into a banana ball stadium. I mean, if you look at their performance, you look at their popularity. I mean, I don't think anybody would complain about that. But yeah, at the end of the day, I mean, if I was not a fan of those teams before all of this, I am especially not a fan of them now.
And by the way, I don't care what anybody says. Kauffman Stadium is a nice stadium.
Yeah,
it's old, but it's a nice stadium. They've done a really nice job with it. Is it as nice as Busch Stadium? No. But it is a really nice stadium. They don't need a new stadium. And if they want one, just pay for it yourself.
Because, and that's the other thing too, that this is not a case of there are necessary safety repairs that need to be done for the well-being of the city in general.
Right.
This is quite literally only focused on trying to appease and keep a already profitable sports team in the area.
Right. When the Rams left St. Louis, did the city collapse? No. Is the city in bad shape? Yes. Is that because the Rams left? No. The Rams leaving was probably more symptomatic of the market in the city than it was anything else. And of course, Kroenke being an absolutely horrible human being,
right?
You know, because he was enticed away by a bunch of corporate welfare in California. And now, frankly, he's paying the price because not many people are showing up to his games.
Now,
terrible.
The other side.
Yeah, we feel so bad. I can see how bad you feel for that. Yeah.
So hurts my heart.
I can hear that small violin over there. But so it sounds like right now, though, that there is at least a pledge to follow through on our government's end to follow up with the funding of it, but it does not sound like it's gone through yet. So is there any hope that we could write some letters or do anything like that? Or do we think...
here's what it would take.
Okay.
It would basically have to model like the rescission process of the federal government. So the lawmakers would have to be called back into another special session and pass something to claw it back and then defend it in court. I don't know if they're not going to do that, because to do that, basically every Republican who supported it would have to admit they're wrong.
Right.
And they're not going to do that.
No.
Honestly, as bad as it sounds right now, it seems to me that the best thing for Missouri taxpayers is for the Chiefs to go, no, thanks, we're going to Kansas.
Yeah, at this point.
I mean, because at that point, then, you know what? We're not on the hook for hundreds of million or billion dollars.
Yes.
And they become Kansas's problem.
Right. And it's not as though they're going so far that it's if you really wanted to go to the game, you can't.
Yeah. And the people who live in Columbia who are big Chiefs fans are still going to buy Chiefs stuff.
Yeah.
And we're still going to tax the stuff on that.
Sure.
So the only thing that you're going to be losing out on are the taxes from the stadium itself.
Right.
So at this point, that's I'm not even sure that's a bad deal because of the way our politicians have kowtowed to these demands of corporate welfare from these billionaires.
Well, and based on the deals, they wouldn't actually be losing the tax money. The tax money is already being diverted to pay for the stadium itself. So it's like you're actually not losing anything if they leave.
Yeah. Who we got?
We have our friend Dave who wants
Dave.
to comment on something that you were talking about just a moment ago.
All right, Dave, you're on News Talk STL. What do you think?
Good morning. Let me ask you, why did your station that I love, why did you guys move out of downtown? Was it a business move?
It was a business move.
Absolutely.
It was an absolute business move. Now, there were elements of our personal safety that were not lost on the bosses as well, but it was a 100% business move.
100%.
Okay, Mike, to your comment about Kroenke, I don't know what kind of person he is, but I'll tell you what kind of businessman he appears to be. A genius. He moved the Rams back to Los Angeles because that stupid Francis Slay gave him an out when he said, no, we're not going to approve the stadium. Now, to call Kroenke a bad guy, again, I don't know if he's a bad person or not, but I say as far as a businessman, you look at the championships that he's brought to his teams. What has this crap ownership done in the last 30 years other than bring steroid manager to town, steroid players to town? And now they still trumpet themselves. We're just going to give bobbleheads away, Mike. I think that was kind of a reckless comment on your part, sir.
I get what you're saying. Of course, I mean, right now there's nobody showing up to the Rams games. The market hasn't embraced them out there, but he took the freebies. I mean, it's like when I'm talking about the Chiefs. I mean, you know, if you can get somebody else to give you money or pay for your stuff, why not do it?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Well, but I believe Kroenke paid for most of his stadium. Again, he might now. Here's where you're spot on, 1,000% spot on. I think as soon as these guys get elected in office, all Democrats are like this, and I think Republicans are. I think they get a lobotomy.
I think required at the door.
Yeah, I called that idiot Kehoe's office, and the lady I talked to, I don't know what she was doing, but obviously she wasn't paying attention to me. So I said to her, hey, ma'am, I know obviously you don't care about this call. I said, but you and that idiot Parsons are the same reason I didn't vote for Kehoe, because just go along to get along. Let's give money to the rich guys. I don't hate rich people. I strive to be one.
Yeah.
But when you've won 3 or 4 championships, you need help from the state, then just sell the team and then move on. Okay, so what if they move to Kansas? Who cares?
I don't care. Yeah.
No, hey, you know what? As far as I'm concerned, I'd love to see the Cardinals, the Blues, and any other major franchise that we may have or have currently move out of the city to show these city leaders for the last 50 years, you guys have stuck your heads up your heinies. You've catered to the criminals. You are reaping what you sow, people.
Yeah, my guess is that at some point in the next 10 years, maybe sooner than that, I think we're going to be having the exact same argument over a new Busch Stadium in St. Louis.
You know, again, not a fan of the DeWitts. I think they're everything that's wrong with baseball. However, I give them credit. They spent 92% of their own money to build a stadium.
Yep. That is absolutely true. But if you're them and you're looking at Kansas City, you're like, why do we do that? Let's just tell the governor we want taxpayer money.
Hey, let me throw this out, Mike, and I'll listen off the air. What if Mr. Kroenke bought the Cardinals? Would you be happy? Because you know he would upgrade it. You know he'd build his own stadium, and he'd probably put it in a safe area.
Boy, I've never even thought about that.
Wow.
Let me drink some more coffee before I go over that.
Those are the rumors I am hearing, fellas.
Really?
And the smart guy in the room, there's 3 smart guys, but the smartest smart guy in the room, put him on it. He'll find out.
All right. Jump on it.
All right.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.
Thank you, sir.
All right. 314-912-1019.
I hadn't heard this at all.
I can tell you there would be an uprising.
Oh my gosh.
He tried to make a play for the Cardinals.
Yeah. See, there's so many. I mean, look,
they would be dusting off the pitchforks.
Whatever, business acumen is there, whatever, self-guided aspects there are to Kroenke's way of doing business that might be positive. His reputation around St. Louis is mud. So there's no way.
I couldn't imagine also that the major league owners would ever allow that because they actually have to approve those ownership thing. I couldn't imagine that.
They'd read the room.
Oh yeah, they really would. All right. AI, artificial intelligence. Whether you realize it or not, it's already affecting a lot of your life. We have to win this race to be the dominant force in AI, meaning America. Is the president's approach going to be the way to do that? We're going to talk about that right around 6:36 here on 101.9 94.1 News Talk STL.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
I'm meteorologist Leah Hill with your first alert forecast. Afternoon temperatures nearing 98 degrees under mostly sunny skies. And it's just going to feel hotter. Once you factor in that humidity, which is high today, it'll feel more like 105 degrees to 110 degrees. That is the heat index. Keep in mind, it's calculated in the shade, which means in direct sunlight, it's going to feel even hotter. Please limit time outdoors. That's your first alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Leah Hill.
Did Leah just say 110 degrees? Oh, my God.
Something like that. That's crazy.
Okay. Wow. All right. Let's get back to business here. Guess where I was right after the show yesterday? Went and visited my friends at Nutrition Stop. Nutrition Stop, the actual address is 4101 Mexico Road in St. Peters. But basically, it's just about a minute or two off of I-70 and Cave Springs Road. So I went in, got restocked on my lean ground bison, which is my favorite lunch and dinner to make, and grabbed a couple other things. One of the things that I get tempted to do is eat snacks that I should not be eating. And they've got so many healthy, delicious choices there to grab that. And it's working. I am telling you, it is not difficult to improve your nutrition, live a healthier lifestyle. You say you want to make America healthy again, start with your family, and Nutrition Stop is where you're going to do that. I am telling you, I mentioned this last week that I saw a picture of me from just about a year and a half ago or so, and I couldn't believe how, let's just say, fluffy I was. I am not fluffy now. I am in much better shape, and people I have not seen in just a matter of weeks or months see me. I've actually had this happen twice in the last month. They said, Mike, what have you been doing? That's the question I'm getting. I am leaner. I am stronger at 53 than I was even throughout most of my 40s. And so much of that is that I have changed my nutrition. Is it breaking my budget and bank? Absolutely not. I'm eating smarter, and that's more efficient, not just with my health and my nutrition, but with my money as well. This is an investment in yourself, and it is not changing my grocery budget, but I am eating a lot healthier. If you got any questions, just go visit Ryan and Jody and Micah and Laura, and they have the answers. They are passionate about helping you live a healthier life. NutritionStop.com is where you can get more information right away, but just put into your GPS, Nutrition Stop, and it'll take you to Mexico Road in St. Peters. This is where I go pretty much every week, and this is where I stock up on some of my supplements, on what I have for lunch and dinner every day. This is what I stock up on as far as my snacks go, and it's where I go to ask the questions when I need help. It's where I get my probiotics. It's where I get my vitamins, and this has been a crucial part in me not just losing weight, not just losing inches, not just gaining strength. This is where I go because my body feels better, and that's making my life better. So you don't have to wait for government to make any changes. You don't have to wait for Robert F. Kennedy or Donald Trump to implement the things you want implemented. You want food without the dyes and preservatives and chemicals. It's already available to you. It's already available to you at an affordable price, and that is at Nutrition Stop. Go visit them today. Ask the questions, look around. They've got a great big store, and just tell them that Mike was talking about him on the radio and say, all right, I want you to do for me what you've done for Mike Ferguson.
Hats off to family fun on Sunday, July 27th, when the Birds host the Padres. That day, 20,000 fans, 16 and older, will get a City Connect throw pad courtesy of Quick Trip. And thanks to Haichu, 10,000 kids ages 15 and under will take home a Cardinals hat with custom charms. Upgrade your and your kiddos' game gear. Snag your tickets today at cardinals.com/promotion.
This is Alec Burleson, St. Louis Cardinals, for the Lou.
Summer in St. Louis means one thing: Cardinals baseball. It's more than a game. It's an STL tradition. The crack of the bat, the roar of the crowd, the boom of the fireworks. It's the soundtrack to summer for Cardinals Nation. So grab your cap and glove and take your spot in the stands, because in St. Louis, baseball is more than a melody. It's our favorite song.
Life's legal challenges deserve experienced representation. For over 15 years, Cole Combs Attorney at Law has been serving St. Charles and surrounding counties with comprehensive legal expertise. From tax preparation and estate planning to family law and criminal defense, Cole delivers personalized solutions for your unique situation. You have traffic tickets, need a business formation, real estate matters, one call will handle it all. Cole O. Combs Attorney at Law. Call 636-949-0010, extension 3 today. or visit colecombs-law.com.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
French journalists are saying they are suffering from malnutrition while in Gaza. Steve Bucci will tell us if he's willing to swap places at 420.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps. Weekdays at 4 on News Talk STL.
Good morning, Missouri. It's your boy, Joe Pags. I'll talk to you tonight at 10. But right now, let's get back to Mike Ferguson in the morning.
All right. Is the Trump administration building the right plan for artificial intelligence? It's not just about technology. It is about commerce. It's about economy. It's about national security. It's about education. It's about all sorts of different things. We're going to visit with Patrick Hedger from NetChoice here in just a second on that. It is 6:39 right now. And like I said, we are joined by Patrick Hedger from NetChoice. And Patrick, let me set the stage for this. There's a big meeting going on right now in Washington, D.C. regarding artificial intelligence, and President Donald Trump unveiling his AI action plan at the Winning the AI Race Summit. And one of the things that he was connecting was AI and development with the issue of national security. Here's part of what he had to say.
We will maintain necessary protections for our national security, but we will never forget that the greatest threat of all is to forfeit the race and force our partners into rival technology.
Patrick, let's start right there because I want to get into the foundations of the AI plan that he announced yesterday. But let's start with, okay, we know that AI is we don't even know how massive it's going to be. We don't even know what we don't know yet about that. It's in such an infantile stage right now. But why is it so important for the United States to be the driving factor on this? Why isn't this something that says, hey, if we've got, other countries developing theirs, we develop ours. It's just a competition. It's an international free market. Let it go. Why is it so crucial that we're in the driver's seat?
Yeah, it's so crucial because that international market really doesn't exist. Because if you think about like the three global poles, if you will, economically, it's the United States, Europe, and China. Europe has regulated its tech sector effectively out of existence. So you've got two choices left. You've got a global internet and a global AI infrastructure run by either United States companies or the Chinese Communist Party. So there's your choice. And that's why we have to get it right, because our allies are not coming to the rescue on this one. We need a global AI infrastructure that is built and run on American hardware and American software to preserve really the world as we know it. We don't want an internet and an AI world that's controlled by the Chinese Communist Party. And this is really a true general purpose technology. AI is something akin to electricity, in my opinion, in terms of its potential to impact literally every sector we can think of.
Good morning, Patrick. Gabe Phifer here. So one of the things that was kind of bubbling up in the conversation was about the leftist, liberal, communist influence in these AI models. How much of that is built into the technology itself, the architecture, versus how much is just a matter of the whole garbage in, garbage out effect that the AI is just pulling from the global pool of information, and it tends to have a leftward bend?
Yeah, it's more of the latter, and I think that's why what the Trump administration's approach is so the big benefit of it is letting 1,000 flowers bloom. The best way to kind of account for any sort of issues within a model is to have better competing models. Ultimately, Americans are seekers of truth, and they need to be able to shop around and say, this model is producing better results for me versus this other one, and having companies be responsive to that kind of market pressure. So that's what I think is like the main way that the Trump administration is going to be able to combat that.
Producer Jerome's chiming in now with Patrick Hedger. So one of the concerns that a lot of people that are growing among, especially the younger folks, is the idea of a technocracy, where AI is going to develop in such a way and be implemented by government in such a way that we're essentially going to be subservient to it. Is this a realistic concern, or is this just sci-fi worries?
Yeah, I mean, there's a little sci-fi worryism there, but at the same time, I think they should be relieved in looking at the approach the Trump administration is taking compared to the Biden administration, because we've got AI venture capitalists that have said that during the Biden administration, they got brought into Washington and told stop investing. We're only going to have 2 or 3 companies that we control, and that's it. That's not what's happening under the Trump administration. They're saying again, we're going to let 1,000 flowers bloom here. We want as many different AI companies and investments as possible, all competing with one another. And the Trump administration's approach is, look, if the government can't help, we're going to get out of the way. And the only way you entrench sort of any kind of technocracy is with regulation. With regulatory moats being built and red tape that only the biggest companies can get around. That's not the approach the Trump administration is taking, and that's so important at the infancy of this technology.
Another aspect of this seems that a lot of people kind of overlook is the power hungry nature of AI and how our infrastructure needs to keep up to the rapid growth of these huge data centers. What's the Trump administration doing about that?
Yeah, so a huge pillar of this plan is not just about regulation around AI. It's about deregulating and expediting the ability to build power from all of the above resources, wherever it makes sense. And what's really exciting about AI is that, look, this power consumption issue existed prior to this AI revolution. Right? We talk about reshoring manufacturing. Lots of people are talking about putting electric cars on the grid. That's a huge strain on the grid. Prior to even talking about data centers and AI. But what's really been great about AI is that these companies, the trillion-dollar companies that are building these data centers, also have the means to say, look, we're going to push forward. We need nuclear energy. We need a renaissance in nuclear and new advanced types of energy. And they're the ones that are able to kind of drive this forward and drive this conversation forward. We weren't really talking about the need for nuclear energy at this scale prior to the AI revolution. And I think that's going to have huge downstream benefits for the entire economy.
Patrick, you got to give President Trump plenty of credit for recognizing that somebody's going to build the superhighway, somebody's going to build the lanes that AI is going to run on. And the question then becomes, okay, is the foundation that he's laying with his vision for the future? Because I think he recognizes that the administrations that are going to actually be the ones involved in the massive growth of this are probably ones down the road after he's out of office. But is the foundation that he laid out and the vision he laid out yesterday on the right track? Is he setting things up the right way, or are there things he should be doing better?
Yeah, so he's definitely on the right track, and technology is all about momentum, right? The reason why Uber was able and Airbnb were able to get off the ground was because they didn't ask for permission; they just did it, right? They outran the regulators, and Trump is creating a runway for AI companies to be able to outrun any sort of future administration that wants to crack down and try and command and control the technology like the Biden administration wanted to do. So that's great. What he could do more is we've got a lot of Biden administration antitrust investigations into the companies that are actually building AI. You name it. You've got an investigation into Microsoft, Amazon, Meta, Google, all under active litigation that was shaped by the Biden administration trying to break those companies up. We want them building nuclear reactors. We want them building data centers. They shouldn't have to spend a bunch of their resources fighting the government as well. So there's another step the Trump administration could take.
For a lot of people, this sounds really, really wonky and really, really technical. Lay this out for why this matters to all of us, here in the St. Louis area regarding AI, because a lot of people say, okay, I know there's a chat box when I go onto my bank's website or whatever the case is, but we're talking about massive impacts on our lives every day here, regardless of what sector we work in.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the stuff that's going on behind the scenes in really every industry is really amazing. I mean, we're talking about AI recognizing molecular patterns so that we can create new types of crystals and other materials to completely revolutionize industrial technology. We're talking about AI recognizing and detecting cancers before any human doctor could see them. And so you're able to treat them much earlier with a much higher rate of success. We're talking about AI recognizing molecular patterns to be able to create new drugs that are tailored to you so you don't get any side effects from that drug. I mean, the list is potentially endless of what AI could do. And we're talking about an economic impact that some estimate could be like adding 4.5 new Germanys to the global economy every single year.
Wow. All right, Patrick, you guys are watching this like a hawk, and you're going to do it in ways that you're going to be breaking down stuff I don't understand and making it so I can understand that. That's what I like about the work you do. How do people follow what you're doing, or if they've got questions, they want to read up on it, what's the way to be in touch?
Yeah, absolutely. www.netchoice.org. You can also follow us on X at NetChoice. You can follow me at Pat_Hedger.
All right, Patrick Hedger, appreciate you being back on, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Do a news dump here. Just a moment. You looking to have a critter in your house, but you don't want to commit to one? You can do it.
Yeah.
You can take a day off and like, what do I want to do with my day? I want to give scritches to a little fuzzy thing.
I would love to do that.
But then I want to give the fuzzy thing back.
Right.
You can do that. I'm going to tell you how in the news dump here in just about 2.5 minutes.
And one thing you can do if you decide that you want to assist these efforts is you can also watch some 80s movies with your foster critter. And guess what? Just so happens today is the last day to submit your 80s music movie theme song requests and or soundtrack requests. So get that to me at Jerome at NewsTalkSTL.com.
Taking my call. News, analysis, opinion.
Radio news junkie. Love every bit about it.
News Talk STL.
Columbo here for my friends at Bluff City Outdoors in Alton. The knowledgeable staff at Bluff City has served the St. Louis outdoor community for decades, and they can take care of all your bow hunting needs, all your trapping needs, all your fishing needs, and more. Plus, while you're there, you can schedule a trip with a local fishing guide and shoot in their archery range. Bluff City Outdoors is open 7 days a week, 1 mile east of Fast Eddie's at 2813 East Broadway in Alton. Follow them on Facebook and at bluffcityoutdoors.com.
Hey, News Talk STL listeners, this is Levi, CEO of Reach Reproductive Health. There was a huge gap left when the biggest pregnancy center in St. Louis had to close their doors right after Amendment 3. But by God's grace and power, Reach has been able to step into that space. We have acquired Thrive centers and are continuing operations in greater St. Louis. I have a request for you. Would you pray and consider getting to know Reach more? We are here to see babies saved and families transformed by the power of Christ. Get to know us on our Reach community website, outreachforlife.org. That's outreachforlife.org.
Why leave your company's story to chance? In today's digital world, video content isn't just an option. It's essential for your success. At Blue Ocean Media Group, we've spent decades crafting compelling visual stories for businesses just like yours. From concept to completion, our award-winning team transforms your vision into powerful video content that connects with your audience and drives results. Don't trust your brand to amateurs. Partner with Blue Ocean Media Group. Visit blueoceanmediagroup.com today, and let's bring your story to life.
This is Mark Harder with RE/MAX Results, the #1 RE/MAX franchise in the region. As a licensed real estate broker with RE/MAX Results for over 20 years, I've seen the ups and downs of many real estate markets, including the one we're in right now. With the spring market in full swing, now is the time to leap into the buying or selling of your home. Someday is not a day. Today is the day to make your move. Call me at 314-852-8933 or email me at markhardersells@gmail.com.
This hour of Mike Ferguson in the Morning is brought to you by Stifel. Request a portfolio review from your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
Bill O'Reilly here. Check out the O'Reilly Update this afternoon at 3:45. Right now, it's back to Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
All right, some pro sports teams on the other side of the state are doing a corporate welfare dance with our money. Maybe they'll take it, maybe they won't. We'll find out, but they're being pretty damn arrogant in the process. Also, a judge says no to releasing some Epstein case information. A Republican leader says they're trying to release more information, but the administration has information and they're not releasing it still. So what are we supposed to believe? Okay, we're going to get into that just a little bit here. And some shelter critters need your help right now because it is freaking hot out there. It is coming up on 6:53. Let's do a news dump.
Successful dump. Wake up, America. It all worked out. They got all the news.
The Morning News Dump.
All right, despite hundreds of millions of dollars being offered, really we're talking about around $1 billion before it's all said and done. There's no way that if the Chiefs take the deal from Missouri, that it's going to stay at $700 or $800 million. It's going to go past $1 billion. So we're talking about a lot of money being offered by the state government, and the Kansas City Chiefs still will not commit to staying in Missouri after all of that. Team president Mark Donovan says they are still weighing the offers from Missouri and Kansas, both of which are offering hundreds of millions, really both of which we're talking about $1 billion offers in public funds for stadium projects. Missouri's would upgrade Arrowhead Stadium. Kansas's would fund most of the construction of the new stadium, basically would give them a new stadium. And despite deadlines and requests for answers, the Chiefs have basically said, we'll do this on our terms. You will offer us public money, and we'll tell you about the decision, and you can wait, sit down, shut up. We're the billionaires. We'll tell you, the people, how it's going to be when we feel like it. That's really the way the Chiefs are treating the public right now.
Yeah, it's absolutely full of arrogance, and I hate the entitlement that these gigantic, billionaire corporations have when it comes to dealing with taxpayers through our useless representatives.
Let them go.
Mm-hmm.
Let them go. That's what I say. All right. Republicans in Congress, as you know, still doing a victory lap over that $9 billion spending cut rescission package, cutting funding for things like public broadcasting and USAID. House Speaker Mike Johnson was on Kudlow last night on Fox Business. He says, you know what? More cuts are coming.
We're planning Reconciliation 2.0 for the fall. And hopefully my plan is to have one again in the spring, because you can attach one to each fiscal year.
Okay, that's great. First of all, you're dealing with overspending that you've already approved. So we're trying to claw that back, which is much more difficult than just not spending it in the first place. Thumbs up on the $9 billion in cuts. But Gabe, I'm thinking, you know what they ought to be doing?
Yeah.
Bring a program, bring a rescission package that starts dealing with hundreds of billions of dollars.
Yes. Actually, more so. I mean, look, in order to actually have an effect on this, $900 billion, that's close to half of the deficit is what we need in terms of rescissions.
Because it's great. $9 billion in spending cuts and clawbacks. That's fantastic.
Sure, that's something.
But your bill is adding $3 trillion to the debt over the years.
Yeah.
So, thumbs up on that. Let's look at his momentum. Let's see bigger things down the road. Okay, a federal judge refuses to allow the release of transcripts from grand jury proceedings in the Jeffrey Epstein case. The Trump administration, through the Justice Department, filed a motion requesting that release. Basically, grand jury hearings are secret by law. There are exceptions. They can be released, and the judge says this request doesn't meet any of those needs. It was not a Trump-appointed judge. It was a Democratic-appointed judge. So you can say that had a factor. Maybe. I don't know. But the fact of the matter is the Trump administration and the DOJ still has a lot of files related to the Epstein case that they are not releasing at this point. All right. Let's see here. The Franklin County Humane Society. They need your help because the air conditioning is not working in a big part of their building, almost half their building as of close of business yesterday. They have brought in fans. They're moving the critters into as many parts of the building where the AC is still working as possible, but they're asking for foster homes to help out, even if you just want to foster for the day. They say that's actually a big help.
Yeah, the air conditioning is working at your house.
Yes, exactly. So if you want to foster just for a day or two at a time, they say please contact them and do that. You can get more information at FCHSMO, as in Franklin County Humane Society, FCHSMO.org. All right. Cardinals end up losing the series to the Rockies. They lost 2 of the 3 games, including the 6-0 loss last night. The Redbirds are coming back to St. Louis to start a homestand against the Padres. Sonny Gray gets the start tonight. He's trying for his 10th win of the season. He's really having a good year. First pitch is at 6:45. You can watch that game as usual on FanDuel. So here's the deal. Cardinals are now 9.5 games back in the division. That puts them in 4th place of the 5 teams. If the Cardinals lose tonight, they're back to 500 even. Would be like 52-52. So Cardinals are having ups and downs, and we're on a down right now.
Getting new flooring can be exciting, or it can be a hassle. To make sure you have a great experience, use Michael's Flooring, like I did. Hi, it's Susie Moore, and Michael's Flooring has become my go-to for quality, variety, and an all-around great experience. They've been locally owned and operated for more than 30 years. Carpet, hardwood, laminate, ceramic tile, natural stone, luxury vinyl, it doesn't matter. Michael's Flooring is ready to help. 3 locations to pick from: St. Peter's, Darting Prairie, and Creve Coeur, or online at igotfloor.com. That's igotfloor.com.
Replacing your windows and doors? Do not settle for ordinary. Go extraordinary. Renewal by Anderson, the full-service window and door replacement division of Anderson, a name trusted for more than 120 years. Their exclusive FiberX material combines the strength, durability of wood with low-maintenance features of vinyl. You get windows and doors twice as strong as vinyl, energy efficient, built to last. For a limited time, get 25% off every window, patio door, or entry door. No payments for 18 months, 0 interest. This is their best new client discount. Dial pound 250, say the keyword windows, or visit rbastl.com. Pound 250, keyword windows, rbastl.com. Get your free estimate. Renewal by Anderson. Superior products, exceptional service.
Hey, Jamie Allman here for my good friend Harry Parker and the ultimate seafood dining experience at Gulf Shores, GulfShoresRestaurantandGrill.com. Gulf Shores offering a unique dining experience with a vast, mouth-watering menu of all of your favorite delicious dishes, something for everyone's taste or palate. 3 convenient locations: Edwardville, Creve Coeur, and St. Peter's. Dine in, carry out. They've got a food truck too. Friendly staff. Looking forward to seeing you, making your dining experience one that you will remember. Gulf Shores RestaurantandGrill.com.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Belfast, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at NewsTalkSTL.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. The Trump administration scores yet another deal, this one with an Ivy League school.
In an effort to restore its federal research money, Columbia University's reached a deal with the Trump administration that will involve it paying more than $220 million to the federal government. The administration cut off Columbia's research funding in the name of combating anti-Semitism on campus. The White House says the money the university's paying includes $21 million to resolve alleged civil rights violations against Jewish employees that occurred following Hamas's October 7th, 2023 attack on Israel. I'm Ben Thomas.
With several Republicans on board, a House Oversight panel has voted to subpoena the Justice Department for release of the Jeffrey Epstein file.
The motion passed by a vote of 8-2. Notably, 3 GOP lawmakers, Representatives Nancy Mace, Scott Perry, and Brian Jack, joined with Democrats on the subcommittee to approve the subpoena defying Republican leadership. The House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer must sign the subpoena before it can be officially issued per committee rules. Republicans on the committee pushed back and amended the subpoena to also include communications by Biden administration officials and the Department of Justice. These officials included Bill and Hillary Clinton, James Comey, Loretta Lynch, Eric Holder, Merrick Garland, Robert Mueller, William Barr, Jeff Sessions, and Alberto Gonzales. Bernie Bennett in Washington.
Ryan Koberger is saying nothing about his motive for the knife attack that claimed the lives of 4 University of Idaho students nearly 3 years ago. Koberger has been sentenced to life in prison, no parole. 3 Lorain, Ohio police officers have been shot. They were ambushed by a heavily armed gunman who later died in a shootout with police. 2 of the officers are in serious condition. The 3rd suffers non-life-threatening injuries. Dow futures down 166. More on these stories at townhall.com.
If you're living with pain, see how Relief Factor can help.
My back got injured very bad. I was off work for about a year. I heard about Relief Factor from my wife. I took it every day, 3 times a day for 3 weeks. I looked at her and I said, the pain is gone. And she said, I'm glad it helped. I said, no, you don't understand. It's gone.
Fight pain naturally with Relief Factor. Go to ReliefFactor.com and get your 3-week quick start today. Only $19.95.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with 0 experience at mycomputercareer.edu. My Computer Career, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
I'm meteorologist Leah Hill with your first alert forecast. Afternoon temperatures nearing 98 degrees under mostly sunny skies. and it's just going to feel hotter. Once you factor in that humidity, which is high today, it'll feel more like 105 degrees to 110 degrees. That is the heat index. Keep in mind, it's calculated in the shade, which means in direct sunlight, it's going to feel even hotter. Please limit time outdoors. That's your First Alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Leah Hill.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Rodney and Jen Wallner and the entire Wallner home selling team at Berkshire Hathaway. Call them today at 314-810-SOLD. 314-810-SOLD.
Hey folks, Jamie Allman here. Exciting things are happening at the Hideout in High Ridge. Famous for the sunset patio, 4 big screen TVs, live music and events, and of course, the wings. The Hideout now has a brand new menu featuring handcrafted burgers and new items like their signature sunset dip and Dave's chili. And now a second location, the Hideout at Sugar Creek Golf Course in High Ridge, featuring great event space. You can stop by for lunch or dinner. The new 2025 Hideout and the new Hideout at Sugar Creek Golf Course. We'll see you there.
News Talk STL is proud to have Doug Voss of Safe Money Radio as part of our lineup each week. Doug has been a staple on the St. Louis radio airways for many years as one of the leading financial experts in the area. You can now hear Doug and Safe Money Radio 2 times every weekend on News Talk STL. But in case you miss anything, you can check it all out at DougVossSafeMoneyRadio.com. You could also reach Doug at 844-676-SAFE. That's 844-676-7233.
Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through DHL Securities, LLLP, member FINRA and SIPC.
Mike Ferguson.
You play ball like a girl!
Gabe Phifer.
I triple dog Darius!
Get up! Get up! Can't you hear the alarm?
Get up, St. Louis.
So it's time to get out of bed. Pour yourself the greatest cup of Kofifi the world has ever seen. Rise up with one voice. Drain the swamp and take back our country. Today's the day we're going to do it, and it's time to do it right now. Believe me.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Get up! Get up! This is your cousin.
All right. I'm going to tie a few things in together here. New York City looks like they may be on the verge of electing an overt socialist.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We're talking like full on Marxism, basically knocking on the door communism, because all those isms are just different shades of the same thing.
Right.
Okay. So they're on the verge of electing the guy who, among other things in his platform, wants to get rid of grocery stores and replace them with government run grocery stores.
Right. Because
he's actually said that in his ads.
Yeah, that like we're not saying, oh, this isn't some sort of conspiracy theory about him as a commie. It's like, hey, these commies, they're gonna come over and you're gonna give you bread lines. It's like, no, he's saying this like, yes, we want to sell you bread.
Yeah, we want the government to be running this because it's so important that everybody have access to affordable food. The government's gonna do it.
Yeah,
right. Because real socialism hasn't been tried yet. I mean, we've heard that, right?
Yes, that is the refrain.
Oh, good Lord. Okay, so but there's an element of this that has been tried in Missouri, and it's now making national news.
Yeah.
Did you guys see this?
I did.
You know, not that I want another Kansas City thing. So in part of the hood in Kansas City, there is a grocery store. Now it's actually part of an actual grocery store chain called Sunfresh.
Right.
Which I don't think we have any Sunfreshes around here.
No, I think
but I've seen them in other cities.
Yeah.
And but it's basically a business that's completely subsidized by the city.
Right.
As in hundreds of thousands of dollars the city is spending giving it to the grocery store. They live in they operate out of a building owned by the government in a strip mall that's owned by the government.
Right.
And what made national news is that apparently the ongoing problem is that the shelves are literally empty in many parts of the store.
Yeah.
As in there's nothing there. And I saw one report out of Kansas City that said the many of the other food items aren't fresh. They've wilted or gone bad on the shelves.
Yes. Yes. So there's a couple of packages various news outlets have done, and in this one they talked to a customer, and this customer told the reporter there that the products and the prices they sell for in comparison to other locations is better, but there's nothing here. Quote, there's no meat, there's no vegetables, there's no nothing. Are you going to take care of the community that surrounded you or what?
See, that's That's the key mindset, though.
Mhm.
Are you going to take care of? So you've got there's a bunch of activists, and Kansas City is one of those cities.
Yeah.
And they actually have it worse than St. Louis has in some areas, because they've got these basically communist activists,
Mhm.
whether it's like, arguing for what they call tenants' rights, which basically are anti-property rights.
Yep.
They've demanded $1 million basically be funded to this grocery store. In funding sent to this grocery store. I think they came up with like $750,000. And so the government is subsidizing the grocery store. And it's kind of like back in the, what was it, the 90s or whatever it was, when the brothel owner in Nevada,
Oh yeah.
he like got into tax trouble, and I think he went to jail.
Yeah.
And so
The government took it over.
The government took over and ran a brothel into bankruptcy. The government could not sell sex.
Think about this for a minute, guys.
Yeah.
Remember, we're talking about oldest profession, right? There's like, every ad guy is going to tell you, yes, sex sells. The rise of OnlyFans has been basically the
confirmation of this.
The confirmation that, look, sex sells.
Look at the east side of our metro area.
And the government couldn't sell it for a profit. It's amazing to me. It's like you're trying to sell heaters in Alaska and you're having trouble. It's like, I don't know what is going on, man. It's just like, I don't know. The market's really tanking out
man.
here.
Customers just aren't reacting. Something's and so in Kansas, and this is a rough part of Kansas City.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just telling you, I've been there. I know
Yes.
this area. And
Crime is an issue here.
right. And they talk about food deserts.
Yes.
A lot out there. And crime is one of the reasons that they're having some issues.
Crime
there.
is the reason food deserts exist.
Exactly.
Well, first of all, I don't think food desert is a real term. Like that's not like a real thing. But if you want to say like for a location, a zone of area where you have to go out of that area in order to get food. Yes, I understand that. You can't get food in your neighborhood. I'm sorry.
Right.
But that's because your neighborhood is trash.
Well, and so the argument
So I'm
being,
saying.
the argument being, okay, well, government's got to do this because we don't have enough grocery stores, or all we have are the convenience stores that sell all the junk food and all this kind of stuff.
Private industry won't fill this gap, right?
So therefore, government must do it. And so just like back in the day, the government could not sell legal sex. The government here in Missouri can't sell food to hungry people who are being given money to buy the food.
Okay, so the KC Sunfresh lost nearly $900,000 over the last year, just this last year. Now, this is it has received tens of millions of dollars in government subsidies dating back to 2018. So there's no indication of how much of that money, of those tens of millions that it got in the previous years, was given back to the city or back to the government.
My guess is right around zero.
That's my guess as well. So this is a multi-million-dollar failure on all fronts. And then there's another aspect to the story that I found interesting, because I'm reading this particular article, and it says, hey, Kansas City Mayor Quentin Lucas acknowledged the crime issues, right, impacting the area around the store, though he noted that another grocery store nearby is faring well.
What's the difference, Gabe?
You mean the privately owned grocery store? And also, I thought this was a food desert.
Right.
Why is there another store down the street?
See, this is the thing. And listen,
So,
our friends on the left here, and this is where let me dial it back just a little bit. If you've got the different perspective on this, because that's one of the things that makes people different, the worldviews from those on the left and those of us on the right, is the role of government.
Right.
Does government exist? Does business, does commerce exist for the mandate of providing people with what they feel they need?
Right.
Or does it exist to make money?
Right.
So you've got two grocery stores in the general area. One exists to make money.
Yep.
The other exists to provide for needs. Guess which one's going bankrupt, or which would be going bankrupt if there weren't government there to keep funding it.
Right. One of the, like I said, going back, one of the patrons said the prices are better. The prices and selection are better at KC Sunfresh, was what she said.
Right.
But the shelves are empty. So it doesn't matter.
Right.
And what's funny too is she goes on to say, just sell it to somebody who can manage it better.
Right.
So
That's what's funny.
That's funny.
I mean, and here's the thing is that real people suffer when government tries to come in and do what it should not be doing.
It's true.
And so when you see this Mamdani in New York City, I probably mispronounced his name.
Whatever.
But who has a very real chance of getting elected. And for a city of how many millions of people?
It's like
9 million people or something like that.
Hold on. Let me population.
You're talking about trying to shift the city into exactly this business model.
Like the entire city, not just.
And he wants to do something similar with housing.
Yeah.
So you're looking at that. You're looking, and so when you get 8.8 million people, and so let's look at a city like St. Louis. What are the lessons that should be learned in Kansas City that are about to be learned? As a matter of fact, the lessons already being learned in New York City that they're ignoring because the city government says we have to make housing affordable. Therefore, we're going to crack down and regulate on landlords, and we're going to limit what they can charge for rent. And so there's something like 20,000 apartment units that are vacant right now because they're not allowed to charge market rent.
Just real quick, by the way, that 8.8 was from the 2020 census. The current projection for 2025 is 7.9.
Yeah, there's a reason for
like
that.
a 9% decrease in the population of New York. Holy crap.
So they'll have 9% more on the shelves.
Yeah,
right?
they should have 9% more products right
now. Now, down on YouTube, welcome down, says taxpayer-funded grocery stores shopped at by taxpayer-funded people.
Yes, exactly.
It sounds like there's a a common theme between those two, and I don't know. This convinced me to want to pay more in taxes, right?
Okay, so
make more things publicly,
and to Don's point, to a socialist, that makes economic sense. You take the money, you fund the buyer, and then you take the money and you fund the supplier, and then they buy from the supplier, and boom, look at that, you have economic activity. And what we're seeing right now is that it fails. It doesn't work.
No, not at all. That what that sounds like to me is a public money black hole. You just you might as well open up a chasm in the sea and dump your cash into that, and you're going to get the same result.
So every time you've got a friend who says government needs to do something because the private market isn't dealing with this, the private market isn't measuring up, the private market isn't succeeding here. Well, then maybe there's a reason for that. I mean, it's almost like Friedman and Sowell are smarter than Marx.
No way.
Yeah. Like it's almost like Hazlitt is smarter than Marx.
It's almost like Hayek had something to say.
Yeah, it's like Hayek may have had something they could have learned from.
And also produce a lovely child eventually. Selma.
True.
Selma.
Well, I mean, even if we can't agree on that, discrimination based on sex is bad, right?
Or maybe.
Or are we just protecting women? Because it's confusing sometimes, but we'll try to figure it out together at 7:20.
Get up, can't you hear the alarm? Get up, this is your cousin.
I think you all know that I've always felt the 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help.
Columbo and Company.
More and more evidence regarding Russiagate coming out that Tulsi Gabbard says proves Obama was at the center of everything. We'll get you the latest Thursday, plus Mo Rep Justin Sparks and Dr. Randy Tobler.
Live and local, weekdays at 2 on NewsTalkSTL.
For 3 generations, one family has ruled the road in quality asphalt paving. Ruby's King of the Road Hot Mix Asphalt Paving. Family owned and operated. We're your leading authority for driveways, lanes, and parking areas. No project is too small or too large. We cater to both residential and commercial needs with unbeatable quality at just $38 per square yard plus labor. Call 636-295-9949. 636-295-9949. Ruby's King of the Road Hot Mix Asphalt Paving. You save when we pave.
Yo, this is Vic. Vic for Vets is proudly honoring our veterans. Every Wednesday at 11:05, you'll hear about that day's honoree and their incredible service to our country.
Hi, it's Ken. You want to nominate a veteran? Send their name, service information, and story to me, Ken, at NewsTalkSTL.com.
Brought to you by Heroes Care, Alamo Military Collectibles, and Monocle's Pizza.
Together, let's celebrate the heroes in our community. Vic for Vets, where honor meets gratitude.
Ready to upgrade your sleep and save big? At Snooze Mattress Company, save up to $725 on Serta, $600 on Stearns & Foster, and $1,350 off Puffy, plus 0% Wells Fargo financing. Then don't miss our grand opening celebration, Saturday, August 2nd from 10 to 2. We're giving away $30,000 in mattresses, including a $15,000 Tempur-Pedic. $5 mattresses, food, drinks, and prizes. Snooze now, party Saturday. If you don't snooze, you lose.
JC's Wayback Machine, because man does not live by news talk alone.
This is Francesca. My dad still has laryngitis, but he wanted me to tell you about this week's show, like a new feature called Back in the Day, where we pull a classic bit from the archives, plus great album tracks from the 90s, 80s, and 70s, and this week's A-list interview with Super Dave, presented by the Weber Automotive Group. Dad, how much do I get for this again?
It's JC's Wayback Machine. Every Saturday night, 6 to 9 on News Talk STL. This is 101.9 and 94.1.
Female millennial Trump supporter. I listen to it like every day. Like, seriously, you get it.
News Talk STL.
Hi, this is Jefferson County Councilman Billy Crow with a reminder to check out our new show, Jeffco Patriot Radio, this and every Sunday at high noon. Now, back to the Mike Ferguson in the Morning Show.
By the way, let me follow up real quick. Corporeal Being mentions on the Rumble chat box. He says, I wonder if the cutbacks on SNAP are part of the reason. I'm going to say probably no regarding that grocery store that's failing because it's been failing and has been requiring subsidies for years.
Yeah, it started in 2018.
Not just right now. Yeah.
And
so,
and that $900,000 shortfall was just from the previous year. It's from last year. So those cutbacks haven't even started yet.
Right, exactly. So I think that's I'm glad he asked that question,
it's a good
because
question.
you know there's somebody out there who's gonna go, well, see, this is all Trump's fault.
Right.
I'm like, well, no. They were subsidizing it, throughout the Biden administration and into the early Trump administration. So yeah. All right. Let's see here. Is this about choice or comfort, or maybe we men folk, maybe we're just dangerous? This is bizarre. Okay, I've seen some national coverage on this. Uber is launching a new feature on their app that lets women only pair with women for rides. So whether it's a woman passenger says, I don't want no man to drive me around, or a female driver says, I don't want to drive men around, they've got a new feature that they're testing in different cities that will let them sex select the driver or the passenger.
Right.
And men not allowed. I looked at Uber's press release on this. I looked at the new coverage. There is no converse feature being tested. So a guy could not say, I don't want a female driver.
Right.
Or a guy drivers can't say, I don't want a female passenger.
Right.
Because they've got all these like non-discrimination things that they make you do with the terms of service. Like, if you've got a drag queen driving you and you call him he, and they can kick you out. You can be banned from the, from the service.
They've got a lot of those things in there.
Yeah. So Uber's launching this new feature and they're testing it in like LA, San Francisco, Detroit. And then they plan to take this nationwide. Lyft has something similar as well. So there's two ways to see this. I'm curious what people think about this. One is but I thought all sex discrimination was bad. Aren't we equal? Women are independent and you're fierce, rare, and you can, you're just like everybody else. Okay. So if discrimination is discrimination. But then there's the other one that says, hey, you know what? There are creeps out there. The reality is, and I've got a daughter, she's in her 20s, I would worry constantly if she were driving Uber or Lyft. For the reason that in St. Charles County, we had that Uber driver assault the young woman. Turns out that he actually didn't have a license and he was an illegal alien, but he was driving rideshare.
Right.
And so the fact of the matter is that there are physical dangers out there. So should we allow the free market and allow businesses, in this case, the business, I mean, the independent contractor who's the driver, say, I want that person in my car. I don't want that person in my car. And should that apply to everybody, because they can take or not take any ride they want. But as a matter of policy, they can say, I don't want somebody because of their sex in my car.
Right.
Blanket statement. Now, can they blanket statement say, I don't want somebody in my car because they're black? Because all of our profiles have pictures, but they can decline to take the ride.
Right.
So in essence, you can kind of do that.
You can do it now. Yeah.
But this is a matter of endorsing it by the business policy.
Blanket policy.
Blanket policy.
Yeah.
So is this feminism going amok, or is this responding to a market and let people make the free market decision, even if it's discriminatory?
Now, I'm one of these guys who likes to recognize that men and women are different. and I think there have been and there continue to be accommodations that we make in our society to address those differences.
Right.
That's why we have separate bathrooms. That's why we have separate sports leagues. as we're supposed to. And if there is an issue in which there's basically we want to create a safe space for women, and I mean that literally
mean that in the not woke way,
not in the not woke way, an actual space of of comfort for women in the whole rideshare world. I'm fine with it. Now, my problem is from the driver's side. If you can, I think a passenger should be able to pick.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, okay, I don't want to be paired with, because there's sometimes you have the ride sharing thing where you can share with a stranger. You could share a single Uber with a stranger.
I've never done that. That seems weird to me.
It seems weird to me too.
I've never done
but of course, that reminds me of sharing a cab in New York, which happens often enough. So I get Uber having that feature. It might save you money or something like that. So I can see a customer preference. I don't want to be paired with a guy, another guy passenger. I don't want a guy driver. I can see that too. Now, of course, that's going to limit your ability to get a driver, because I think most Uber drivers are male. But
the vast majority, I mean, it's like 90-some percent.
It's like 90-some percent.
That was part of the press release. They said this is a challenge.
Right. So look, I mean, as a customer, sure. Here, more choices for you. That's a business giving more choices to a customer. And I think with a valid reason that men and women are different, and there are safety concerns between the two. I don't think it makes sense for the drivers to be able to make those sort of choices. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
From a commercial standpoint. Now from a like a legal standpoint.
Right, because there's two different questions.
Yeah, those are two different questions. For the legal thing, I was like, I don't know. I mean, again, legally, I think you can offer customers what they want. I think that should be that's a transactional thing. I don't think the government should be telling you how who you can serve. From the other side, for the legal side, in relation to the drivers being able to pick who they can serve, I think that public accommodations law stuff starts to kind of creep in.
That's at some point there may be some lawsuit somewhere in this, because it's a little complicated, because the drivers are independent contractors.
Right.
They are not employees of Uber or Lyft or whoever you're working with.
Right.
Excuse me. So the free marketeer in me, the libertarian in me, says you should be able to select whoever you want. In practice, I think a lot of them probably do that now.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Because it's just not official policy.
Right. But what you're able to do here is like go through this particular setting, and then the female drivers are only going to receive requests for rides from female passengers. And vice versa. The female passengers are going to say, if they go through this, they're only going to be sent to female drivers. Now, here's the thing: 90-some% of the drivers are male.
Right.
So you're going to be waiting a little while. Those female drivers, if there's a demand for this, they're going to be able to charge a lot more.
That's true.
For this. Now, I think you should be able to pick and choose anybody that you want in the car, or whatever car you want to get in for any reason.
Right. Yes.
Even if I don't like the reason, I think, because that's my freedom of thought on that.
Yes.
And somebody's not going to like that because of the, is a private car a public accommodation?
Right.
And I don't know that the courts have sorted that out, but it's my car. Do I still have the right to say, you're okay to get in, you take a hike?
Here's a hot take from Gabe too. I don't think the public accommodations carve out should exist to begin with.
Yeah,
I think you should be able to discriminate the way you want to discriminate. And again, so long as this isn't hidden information, as long as this is public information that you are necessarily discriminating against various people of various classes, then we as the market can respond to you. We as a society can and should respond to you in kind, so that, look, if we were a proper society with proper laws, and everybody kind of understood your role in that, the discrimination would be so unpopular and unprofitable that people would self-regulate on how they operate in the world.
Kind of like that that all whites community that we talked about yesterday.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I saw a few more people just sharing that story on social media. A couple of my black friends were showing that there, and it was interesting, some of the arguments I have with some of my black friends and some of my white friends on that. And I'm kind of shaking my head on this. I'm like, guys, I think a lot of you are missing the point on this.
Yeah.
And because we came to essentially the conclusion to say, listen, if those idiots want their own place, that means they won't be in our place.
Right. Exactly.
Let them go.
Let them go.
Let them go.
Why are you fighting to keep them in your neighborhood?
Don't do that. Let them go. I mean, and hopefully they'll never bother us again.
Right. Exactly.
So in this situation right here, if somebody, if a woman says, I don't want to pick up Mike Ferguson because he's a male and that might be dangerous to me. Is that offensive as a concept to me? Sure. I'm
sure. It's like, I'm not dangerous, as
but I'm also a dad of a daughter who I would say if she looks at a thing and goes, I got a bad feeling, no, or I don't even want to be in that pool. I get that. So to me, the bottom line, the answer is going to be the free market, make it as free as possible. So I don't have an issue with Uber doing this. I think the rollout on it's been really, really clumsy because they're trying to take this pseudo feminist and men are bad.
Yeah.
Men are just dangerous. The underlying thought on this is, you guys are
like
just
all
dangerous.
men. Yeah. It's choose the bear.
It's men. Yeah. It's like, as long as it's female bear. And so, and so that their rollouts on this been clumsy, but this is an area where, okay, so you're looking at me in a condescending way, but you know what? That's part of the free market. I'm not going to be giving the female driver any of my business. Then if she doesn't want mine, she's not making any money off.
Yeah, that's true. So much chaos. I mean, news.
Yeah, news.
There's news.
News.
There's so much news also that we're going to be dealing with coming up. I mean, so much related to the Trump administration.
Yep.
So let's get you all caught up and sorted out on that as we do rapid fire. I think at 7:35.
As much as we can.
Yeah.
And should it be a crime to lie to the American public? I mean, I think so. But let's get Larry Connor's thoughts on this coming up in Larry Connor's commentary. Stay tuned.
No matter how I try, find my way to the same old jam.
From the Michael's Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
I'm meteorologist Leah Hill with your first alert forecast. Afternoon temperatures nearing 98 degrees under mostly sunny skies. And it's just going to feel hotter. Once you factor in that humidity, which is high today, it'll feel more like 105 degrees to 110 degrees. That is the heat index. Keep in mind, it's calculated in the shade, which means in direct sunlight, it's going to feel even hotter. Please limit time outdoors. That's your first alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Leah Hill.
John Bill Roofing reminds you we are in the stormy season, and that means if you have even the smallest leak in your roof, you could soon have a much bigger issue. Call to John Bill to make sure that your biggest investment is protected. That call can save you major dollars. If you do get hit during a storm, John Bill has a rapid response team. Call 1-800-NEW-ROOF. 1-800-NEW-ROOF. 1-800-NEW-ROOF, John Bill.
Larry Connor's commentary, brought to you by Vincent's Jewelers, offering a wide selection of jewelry, including lab-grown diamonds, affordable earrings, bracelets, necklaces, and rings, up to 75% off their natural counterparts. Visit VincentsJewelers.com. This is Larry Connor's commentary on News Talk STL.
President Trump is on record saying that former President Obama is guilty of treason. How many of you agree? Whoa, don't shout so loudly. Trump is basing his statement on the avalanche of documents being released by Tulsi Gabbard, all regarding the Russian collusion hoax. Connecticut Democrat Congressman Hines says Trump's rhetoric is going to lead to someone getting killed, as if all the things said about Trump didn't lead to at least 2 attempts on his life. Obama is responding through his press office, saying Trump's remarks are outrageous. Note he did not say slanderous. The legacy media bought into all these lies told about Trump by CIA Director Brennan and Director of National Intel Clapper. relying strictly on their words and all the other so-called intel experts. Well, now there's evidence, a paper trail showing they lied. Now, lying to you, the American public, that's not a crime. And in fact, it can pay you good money. Ask Brennan and Clapper. They both got high-paying jobs at the legacy networks as experts on national intel. Gives you a whole new definition to the word expert.
Get more Larry Connors on Larry Connors USA.
Tonight at 6 on News Talk STL.
Tony Colombo here for my dentist, Dr. Matt Boscia at New Creation Dental Care, the one-stop shop for all your family's dental needs. And Dr. Boscia is always expanding his services, now including the incredible all-on-4 full arch implant procedure, full mouth restoration that can give you back your smile in as little as 1 day. No more suffering with damaged or missing teeth or poor fitting dentures. You can see some amazing smile makeovers, learn more about the all-on-4 procedure, and see everything Dr. Boscia can do right now at newcreationdentalcare.com.
Looking for an underwater adventure or a scaly new friend? Dive into Tropical World Pets on Watson Road. For 32 years, this family-owned wonderland has been St. Louis's go-to destination for all things aquatic and reptilian. With over 7,000 square feet of aquariums, we're home to the area's largest selection of freshwater fish, including rare cichlids you won't find anywhere else. But that's not all. We've got tarantulas, snakes, and lizards galore. Tropical World Pets, 314-849-4020, or visit twpstl.com.
It's that time of season when families, businesses are moving. For local or long distance, I endorse McGuire Moving. Get a date set soon before the schedules are booked. 314-241-0600. 241-0600. McGuire is constantly giving back to our veterans, such as support dogs for our brave. So with McGuire, you're getting excellent service and helping our vets. McGuireMoving.com.
All the information I need on the drive to work.
Like Ferguson in the morning. I keep it on throughout the day, whether it's local, national, or something big that's happening overseas.
News, analysis, and opinion. St. Louis's #1 for conservative talk.
News Talk STL.
Went through being cool. Went through being cool. Eliminate the minis and the twits.
Hey, this is Todd Showalter. Join me on Saturday at 5 as I try to put some fun back into this dysfunctional radio station. It's the Right Mind Show with me, Todd Showalter, at 5 on Saturday. And, speaking of dysfunctional, let's get back to Mike Ferguson in the morning.
I just want to point out that I double-checked, and yes, I have a perfect 5-star rating on Lyft. Thank you very much.
Okay, all right. You are a model passenger.
I'm not saying I'm a big deal. I'm just saying I have a 5-star rating on there. That's right. Yeah, actually, I haven't done Lyft because Lyft went all super woke.
Yeah, they did,
then
in
Uber,
particular.
And I'm like, well, I'm going to go get Uber then. And then Uber has gone completely woke. So there's really nowhere else to go. And sometimes I just need to get to the airport. And I don't want to spend $30 a day for parking my car out there.
Right, yeah.
So it is what it is. All right, trying to keep up with all of the news involving the Trump administration.
There's
right
a
now.
lot, man. It was just, it felt like a deluge. I'm like, wait, is this another, are we at another story here? My gosh.
It is the proverbial drinking from the fire hose.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh my goodness. So here's what I want to do here. I want to try to go through like the big stuff as much as we can to bring you up to date. So let's keep an eye on like the Facebook comments. I'm going to keep an eye on like the Rumble. You got some thoughts on this? Let's go through these and give a couple minutes on each of them. Okay. Columbia University essentially cries uncle to the Trump administration over the anti-Semitism that they have allowed on campus. They're going to be paying over $200 million in fines. They have to correct a lot on campus when it comes to protecting Jewish students. Now, this is going to bleed over into protecting other students as well. But essentially, Columbia was one of those, and this sends a massive message to other universities. You can talk about Harvard. You can talk about, any of the others. And so basically, it's okay if this particular group of people is the target du jour. These are the ones that the left say it's okay to attack. You don't get to take federal money and then say, go get the Jews.
Right.
We're not going to stop you from doing it. So this is a big win for the Trump administration.
Yeah, it would be one thing if it was only students themselves being knuckleheads, but when you have administrative people helping facilitate this, and sometimes even encouraging people that are not even part of the school community to come on campus and participate, that makes an entirely different beast entirely.
Right. Yeah. And this is an area that I think that Linda McMahon and President Trump, I would say I'm probably on board with over 90% of their approach.
Yes.
To all of this.
To education.
To dealing with all of this, to the woke stuff. I think they've been spot on. And essentially in this settlement that Columbia University is agreeing to, this sends a shockwave through the academy.
Yeah, for real. Like these are real changes. One of the things I noticed was that they had to, I get, well, I'm not sure if they had to as part of the deal or if they just kind of started doing this, but they were actually bringing consequences to the people who participated in some of these really bad disruptions. And they cited their existing rules about campus behavior. Fancy that. They actually enforce their own rules. And yeah, there's some people who are they were expelled. They're barred from attending for periods of time. There's some people who've been put on academic probation and things like that. So yeah, the actual consequences for the knuckleheads who were causing trouble.
And that's going to be in addition to hopefully some market consequences, because you're also talking about universities that encourage the keffiyeh wearing pro-terrorism activism on there. Now, again, free speech. If you want to wear the terrorist rag and you want to be on the side of the terrorist faction of the entire conflict, which are the Palestinians, then that's your right.
Sure.
And I want you to have that right, so I know who I don't want to hang out with. In this case, though, it had to do with basically aiding and abetting at the university level and endorsing it and taking our money to do it.
Yes. And that's the major thing. It's like, it's one thing for you to exercise your free speech. That's fine. But it's another for you to take the free quote unquote money, the free money from us to do so. So,
Okay. So let's talk about this case here where the Trump administration says, okay, we're going to ask the judge to release some transcripts from the Epstein grand jury hearings. Grand jury proceedings, generally speaking, by law, are private. They're sealed. They're sealed, and there are exceptions where you can request that be open to the public. And the judge in this case says, no, that doesn't meet any of this criteria. I am denying that request from the Department of Justice to release those grand jury transcripts.
Right.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go around the room here because I've got mixed feelings on it. What do you guys think?
I think the Trump administration knew that this was going to happen.
Yeah.
It's an Obama appointed judge. So then when the denial comes, it's like, hey, we tried to give it to you guys, but that Trump appointed judge just blocked us on it. So oops, sorry, move on. I think that was kind of the intention of going specifically for those transcripts.
Particular thing.
This particular thing, those transcripts, like you said, which are sealed by law. Now, it'd be quite another thing if, let's say, they release the full transcripts of the actual court proceedings, right? Like the full trial,
right?
The Ghislaine Maxwell trial, because
she was tried in public.
But
this was the actual Jeffrey Epstein. Because remember, he was in jail. So
he was in jail
indicted,
at the time. Yeah, so he was indicted, but he never made it to trial, right? So we
no.
Yeah, so we don't have any.
He totally killed himself.
Yeah.
Even though the previous 2 times he'd been convicted and put in jail, he did anyways.
Yeah.
No, and I agree, and that's been a question on my mind because I'm still learning actually how it is that judges keep blocking our actual federal government. And the residual question is, was this a judge that they went to and sought and say, we're going to specifically choose you to make this request to, or was that a judge that
it generally, you do it with a court and then what's supposed to happen? And Susie Moore, if you're listening, shoot me a note if I'm wrong about this. And then they're supposed to basically draw or assign it in the court level. So they're not supposed to pick the judge, but they pick the jurisdiction.
So they went out, they picked that jurisdiction, and then the courts themselves were the ones that assigned that judge. Again, I think given what we've seen with how they handled the congressional effort, Gabe's 100% right. I think that this could have been intentionally done as we're trying to show you we're being transparent, but at the end of the day, no, I'm just not buying it.
I'm not feeling that this was a sincere. I think I agree with you all. I agree with you guys. I think that the Trump administration knew very, very well that there's no way a judge is going to unseal grand jury proceedings.
Right.
That's just not done for the most part, but they're going to say, hey, we tried. We tried. Look, we tried. You say you want transparency. We tried. That Obama appointed judge said, no, blame them. Well, no, here's the fact of the matter is that the bulk of all of the evidence is still with the Department of Justice, and they are refusing to release that information.
Yeah.
Okay. So that brings me to the next story on this here. Wall Street Journal. And I'm going to bring up the article so I can make sure that I'm reading it as we're talking here. The Wall Street Journal is reporting that back in May, back as recently as May, Attorney General Pam Bondi briefed President Trump that his name is mentioned in the Jeffrey Epstein files.
Mhm.
Okay. So I've got the article at Newsmax here. And one of the articles, one of the paragraphs says, according to senior officials who spoke with the outlet, the president was told his name appears multiple times in the Epstein files, along with other prominent individuals. The mention of Trump's name is not evidence of wrongdoing, the outlet noted, as Epstein sought the attention of many high-profile clients during his years as a financial advisor. Okay, so I don't think it's a big surprise because we know he was on the plane at least a couple of times.
They had a brief relationship on some level.
They were best buddies for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that's a big surprise. I think that this is more aha fuel for the left.
Oh gosh, yes.
I don't think there's a there.
No.
I mean,
I'm reminded of like the I think Alan Dershowitz was another one of these guys. Well, his name was in the files, as they like to say, and he spent money and time just making sure that people understood. Is like, yeah, I had dealings with that guy, but not there, not in that context. So, I think there are probably a number of people who kind of fall into that category.
But the headline, Trump was told his name is in the Epstein file. That's the headline that they want.
That's intentional.
It's sensationalized.
Yeah.
And to your point, yes. Once again, the flight logs were provided by the pilot himself. That's been online for a while, and named in there is the detective that went to go investigate it, as well as people that had really nothing to do with, or not even remotely accused of being involved in any ways with crimes. Maybe they were there snorkeling or fishing or something. But so it is important to not be so hyper vigilant that every single name coming out is going to be somebody that we're going to pull out pitchforks over. But at the same time, that's why it's important to investigate and make a client list.
And that's what the transparency is all about. There are going to be a lot of people who maybe were on those planes who had nothing to do with the sex trafficking. He was he was a financier. I mean, he did a lot of legitimate business.
He rubbed elbows with a lot of very powerful people. That was kind of the point of that relationship between his legitimate business and his illegitimate business.
And that's the thing. And some of that pushback absolutely could be people who had nothing to do with the sex trafficking going, wait a minute, I was on the plane 100 times because he did the financing for my real estate development or whatever.
Right.
I had nothing to do with that. But if you release these files, my names are going to come out. And I happen to be a massive funder of all these Republicans.
I'll be mud.
And so you're going to, I mean, I think there's an element of that.
Sure, maybe.
And here's the thing is, I don't care if there's transparency. It's going to show that you were never accused of anything, but I imagine that would suck for you.
Well, and once again, it's the DOJ declared in the memo, it's a closed case.
Right.
This entire investigation, the trial, everything has already happened. So at this point, having your name associated with it, if it has not already been associated in the past, I mean, the people that are innocent that have already been associated, their lives are not destroyed. A lot of them are still doing their thing. So
besides, it's all a hoax.
Yeah, it's all a hoax, and we're actually just stupid, crazy people for talking about it.
Yeah,
so.
that's right.
I would really like, and here's what I'm actually looking for. I think this is what the majority of the public is actually looking for. I want somebody like Pam Bondi. I want Pam Bondi's office to go through all of the documents and determine a client list, right? It's like not just the list. I mean, what do we mean by the list? We mean a client list. People who are credibly accused and possibly, proven through this information as participating in the sex trafficking. We want the client list, and that would be a separate document developed from the information, and you can publish the information as backing for the client list that you've developed out of your office. That's what we want to see, because then you kind of already escape you don't want to grab people in the way. It's like, this is the client list. People publish that, people will look at that, people will search that and say, these are the a-holes we want to go after. That's fine. That's what we want.
But those people are influential and powerful.
That's what I think is going on.
That's
right
what
now.
I think is happening, is that there were a lot of promises made in the campaign. And I don't know if they just got back there and looked at the files and went, oh crap. We didn't know that guy was, and we can't throw him under the bus.
Right.
He funded all this stuff for us.
Yeah.
So at this point, I think the Trump administration did some misdirection with the grand jury thing. The ability to be transparent is the choice of the Trump administration right now, and they're choosing not to.
Yeah.
By the way, one other thing, a federal appeals court on Wednesday ruled Wednesday the President Trump's executive order seeking to end birthright citizenship is unconstitutional.
Okay, so is this going to take it to the Supreme Court?
We're getting pretty close because that affirmed a lower court ruling that blocked the enforcement of his executive order nationwide.
Right.
So this is one step closer now to the Supreme Court.
Time to clean some house. Be a man or a mouse.
Mike Ferguson in the morning.
My opinion is it's weird.
On Newstalk STL.
From home improvement to replacement, do-it-yourself electrical projects can be shocking. That's where Grasser Electric can help. They've been lighting up St. Louis for years. From ceiling fans and dimmer switches to repair or replacing your electric. No job is too big or too small for your home or business. Grasser Electric will even install emergency backup generators. So call Grasser Electric today before the sparks start to fly. 636-441-5200 or go to grasserelectric.com.
Looking for treasures from the past? Discover Mimi's Antiques Attic, your locally owned and family-operated treasure hunt destination. Explore 16,000 square feet of antiques, crafts, collectibles, and designer items across 225 unique rental spaces. Open Monday through Saturday, 9 to 7, and Sundays, 10 to 6 at 1000 Warrenton Shops in Warrenton. Mimi's Antiques Attic, where every visit uncovers new treasures.
I'm Dr. TJ, owner of the Institute of Natural Health, co-owner of Optimal Nutraceuticals, and the host of Wellness One. Wellness One is designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you common sense science-based information regarding health and wellness. On the show, we discuss topics like thyroid health, gut health, hormone optimization, and many others. Our show airs Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. right here on NewsTalkSTL. And you can visit us at inhstl.com. That's inhstl.com.
Is your pup in need of a spa day? At Pretty Little Paws, we believe grooming should be a stress-free, tail-wagging experience. Our one-on-one, fear-free grooming ensures your furry friend gets the gentle, personalized care they deserve. No noisy kennels or long waits, just love, patience, and expert grooming in a calm, relaxing environment. Because a happy pup means a happy you. Pretty Little Paws, with 2 locations in O'Fallon and St. Peters. Visit us online at prettylittlepawsgrooming.com.
Hey there, Tim Jones here. Make sure you join me and my buddy Chris Arps this afternoon from 4 until 6 p.m. right here on 101.9, 94.1 News Talk STL. Right now, let's get back to more of Mike Ferguson in the morning.
There's so many situations where multiple things can be true at the same time, which is why like the current craziness of the news requires nuance, and most people don't want that, I think, which is why I think shows like this do pretty well, because there are a lot of people that do want that sort of thing. And when you look at, we talked about the drinking from the fire hose with all of the, because that's just a scratching the surface. We didn't even have time to get into Tulsi Gabbard's announcement of the Russia hoax.
Oh yeah, that's another one.
Task force, all of those sorts of things, and
her recommendation of Obama to be indicted, basically,
right? which by the way is not going to happen.
That's not going to happen.
Now, some of his underlings might, but he's not going to be. So, a couple things can be true at the same time. That the investigation into the Obama hoax is valid.
Yes.
Now we don't know what they're going to find, but or we're not. From here, we've got documents that Tulsi Gabbard's released. That can be absolutely true, and I think it is. It can be absolutely true. That there's a valid debate on the 14th Amendment, and the court ruling it's good or bad or whatever. it also can be true that those things are being emphasized and pushed by the Trump administration to distract from the Epstein stuff.
Yes. And I kind of feel that way because of the volume of big news that has suddenly been
Huge
released.
news.
Yeah, like these are big things. And to be fair, some of these are campaign promises, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like these some of these are delivered delivery of campaign promises. Like it's like, hey guys, we're still delivering on campaign promises. Please don't.
So here's what I would say is Republicans,
Republicans,
if you want to legitimately push the Epstein stuff off, because the Republicans are now trying to frame this as, well, the Democrats just want to focus on this. It's not the Democrats. I mean, they do, but the Democrats aren't that sincere on this.
Yeah, obviously.
Because the Democrats just say, ooh, here's an Achilles heel for the Trump administration. Let's exploit it.
Right.
It's conservatives who are saying, no, we want the answers to this. It's not the Democrats. And I don't care what the Democrats have to say.
Right.
About
Yeah.
this.
They're
I just
largely
don't.
irrelevant to this conversation.
They really are. This is the president's own base saying, wait a minute, we were promised the truth and transparency, and we want that. And so when I hear, like, for instance, Speaker Mike Johnson saying, well, this is the Democrats just trying. No, it's not. It's really not.
And I will add, too, that I think this is largely whatever weapon, whatever way the Democrats are weaponizing this.
Right.
This gun was loaded by the Trump administration.
Precisely.
You know, they didn't have to do it this way. They didn't have to issue a memo to say nothing to see here, move on, the case is closed. They didn't have to do that. They could have had a briefing. A press briefing to say, look, we're as we go through this, we're discovering that there are more complications to the individuals that we're dealing with. There are ongoing investigations on some of the clients that we have to keep under wraps and blah blah. You could have spun all kinds of ways around why you have to delay the release of this information, all while reassuring us that you're still on the ball. You could have done that. And I think largely we would have accepted it. We would have trusted, because it's like they keep pointing to, hey, look, all these promises made and promises kept in the past. And we would rely on that. We'd say, see, they're actually on it. So if they tell us that they're on it, they're going to get to it eventually. We have at least a small basis to lean on and say, well, they've done this before. They'll get to it. We would have trusted them. But right now, they've diminished that trust greatly.
And as far as the Democrats go, if they were really serious and suddenly they would have been pushing for it during the Biden administration.
Yeah,
they're not going to.
They were reacting the same way the current Trump
they were doing the same
administration
thing, which again indicates to me that this is so much bigger than Republican or Democrat. On there, that there are most likely massive names and centers of influence who are in those documents as doing really bad stuff.
And that's, I think, what's very unsettling about the whole thing is, in a way, I can understand that, yes, us keep talking about it. Democrats can use that as a, see, we were right. And that's not even remotely true.
Right.
Because, again, Representative, I think Blackburn was the one that tried to subpoena the documents. Senator, back in 2023, and was literally had that denied by a Democrat that was overseeing everything. So it's not a matter of left or right, as you said, but the overall issue is that makes it even more terrifying, because if both sides cannot be trusted, if there's no clear good side in this, then we need to really reconsider who are we supporting and looking at, and why are they there? What do they know? And it's just not very reaffirming. And to Gabe's point, absolutely. If they had just said, look, we have so much going on right now, we still are going to fall through on this, because that's not the only list that he promised to release.
Right.
And then to say, you know, it's done with, we're doing that, but we have other things to work on right now. Again, we would have probably went with that. That would have been a defendable thing. But to go from it being case closed, nothing, to hoax to, well, now we're the ones fighting to release it against our own courts. It's just
nonsense.
No,
Complete
it's
nonsense.
Absolute malarkey.
If you want to push people like me off of focusing on the Epstein thing, Republicans, make your next rescission or reconciliation bill something that cuts $100 million out of something, $200 million out of something, delivers a massive spending cut, put up a tax, another tax cut on top of what's on
billion by $200 billion.
200 billion. Yeah, exactly. I would even give credit to 100 million, but I mean, because $100 billion. I mean, do that. Do the really, really big stuff as opposed to, performative, even if it's good stuff. then you know what? Then you get people saying, okay, I'll put more focus on that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it is definitely summer here in the Heartland. Time to call Hanson's Tree Service for all of your commercial and residential tree care. Tim Jones here for Hanson's Tree Service. Let them come out to your homestead or your business today. Take care of everything regarding the exterior of your home. Grinding and land clearing, all residential and commercial tree services. They've got fantastic organic mulch in bulk, plant health care as well. Give them a call, 636-379-1830, 24/7. They're always available at hansonstree.com. That's hansonstree.com.
Hey, News Talk STL listeners, this is Levi, CEO of Reach Reproductive Health. There was a huge gap left when the biggest pregnancy center in St. Louis had to close their doors right after Amendment 3. But by God's grace and power, Reach has been able to step into that space. We have acquired Thrive centers and are continuing operations in greater St. Louis. I have a request for you. Would you pray and consider getting to know Reach more? We are here to see babies saved and families transformed by the power of Christ. Get to know us on our Reach community website, outreachforlife.org. That's outreachforlife.org.
To our brave police officers and first responders, we say thank you for risking your lives to protect us. To all the incredible volunteers who've joined hands with the David Dorn Foundation to raise funds for equipment and services, we extend our heartfelt gratitude. We stand strong with our volunteers who give their time, talent, and dedication as a shield of support for those who rush into danger. The David Dorn Foundation gives a big thank you from our heart to yours. Visit dornfoundation.com and join as a volunteer.
It's a pretty simple concept.
It is clear to me.
Let me make this clear.
Big events.
Your news and your opinions.
We're going to get out there and be heard.
St. Louis's place to talk.
Our voices are never heard in the media. We, the people, will always find a way.
And it's about time that we start putting up or shutting up.
Yeah, and you should come. You should listen to many voices.
101.9 and 94.1.
Their phone lines have surely been burning up.
News Talk STL. KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefontaine, KNDS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 101.9, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. A court has dealt President Trump a setback in his bid to eliminate birthright citizenship.
The Ninth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals in San Francisco has ruled President Trump's executive order seeking to end birthright citizenship is unconstitutional. It affirms a lower court decision that blocked enforcement nationwide. The order would deny citizenship to children born to people who are in the United States illegally or temporarily. The ruling marks the first time an appeals court has weighed in and brings the issue one step closer to quickly coming back before the Supreme Court. Ben Thomas, Washington.
Columbia University has agreed to pay $220 million to settle Trump administration allegations of on-campus anti-Semitism. The Ivy League school stressing this is not an admission of wrongdoing. The recent devastating, deadly flooding in the Texas Hill Country and the response to the disaster is the subject of an investigation by Texas lawmakers. State Senator Charles Perry says it's not about second-guessing, finger-pointing, or scapegoating.
Our select committee will not armchair quarterback or attempt to assign blame. To do so would undermine the very goal in the committee's creation. The goal of our committee is to find constructive policy solutions which will prevent future loss of life like what our state has suffered over the past few weeks.
The Independence Day flood claimed 136 lives. Russian authorities say a plane crash in the country's far east near the border with China has claimed 48 lives. The aircraft vanished from radar screens, crashing in a remote mountainous region. There were no survivors. Watching Wall Street ahead of this morning's opening bell, the Dow futures down 323 points, NASDAQ futures 38 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Hey, I'm Brant, and her name is Sherry.
Hello.
She's a friend of mine whom we were just praying for because of a surgery she just went through.
Yes, and I am very happy about something you actually talk about all the time, which is
MediShare.
That is right.
Yeah. So what was your experience like with MediShare and the healthcare bills?
Honestly, Brant, seamless. And what a blessing that is when you're already nervous about a health issue, which I was.
Yeah.
Members shared my expenses. There were zero problems. And let me tell you, having people pray with you when you call in with your need, that is just
It is refreshing.
Yes, that's what it is.
But I keep telling people love MetaShare and they love saving tons of money too. The typical family can save $500 a month.
I am very thankful for MetaShare. It is so different, and I mean different in a very, very good way.
It is good different. Call now. They're easy to talk to, and you can get a price within 2 minutes. Call 844-41-BIBLE. That's 844-41-BIBLE. 844-41-BIBLE.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
I'm meteorologist Leah Hill with your first alert forecast. Afternoon temperatures nearing 98 degrees under mostly sunny skies. And it's just going to feel hotter. Once you factor in that humidity, which is high today, it'll feel more like 105 degrees to 110 degrees. That is the heat index. Keep in mind, it's calculated in the shade, which means in direct sunlight, it's going to feel even hotter. Please limit time outdoors. That's your first alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Leah Hill.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Stifel, serving investors for over 130 years. Contact your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
Tony Colombo here for Gutter Pros, your all-in-one gutter service team that brings years of experience and quality that's affordable right to your doorstep. We discovered Gutter Pros a few years ago when we bought our home and inherited a gutter issue that was on the road to becoming a potentially big problem, but thanks to Gutter Pros was stopped before causing any major damage. They've also repaired the siding on our home because along with gutter repair, gutter installation, and leaf protection, the Gutter Pros are also the best for siding repair and installation. Learn about all the ways Gutter Pros can help your home at gutterpros.com.
Serenity Wealth Now with Chris Cooper.
Hey, Chris Cooper here, Serenity Wealth Management, and joining us this Sunday for Serenity Wealth Now Radio, we have got radio legend, absolutely amazing individual, 50 plus years in the music radio business, Mark Close, joining us in the Serenity Wealth Now studio. So tune in this Sunday, 9 a.m. right here on News Talk STL or at serenitywealthnow.com and social media channels.
Investment advice offered through Fortis Capital Advisors, LLC.
Mike Ferguson.
We the people.
Gabe Phifer.
It's not rocket science. Rocket science.
Get up! Get up! Can't you hear the alarm? Get up! Get up! Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
All right, will they stay or will they go now?
And there's the song.
There it is. It's in your head now. You're welcome. Pro sports teams are doing the corporate welfare dance with your money.
And by dance, we mean the one with the pole.
That's right. By corporate welfare dance and the money. I am talking about the Chiefs and the Royals, particularly the Chiefs.
Make it rain.
That's the stripper. Taxpayers and government are the ones in the front row going, I think she likes me. I think she's going to settle down with me.
You think I got a shot?
I think I've got a shot. That's how gross this whole thing is becoming here. 8:05 right now. Also, a judge says no to releasing some Epstein case information. A Republican leader says they're trying to release more information, but the administration is not releasing more information.
They are not.
They're not. No. So what are we supposed to believe? We'll follow up on that as well. And some shelter critters need some help right now because it is really darn hot out there. 8:06. Let's do one more news dump today.
The morning news dump brought to you by the Nutrition Stop. The morning news dump.
Are you joking? Is this a joke?
Listen, folks, the morning news dump.
Okay, despite hundreds of millions of dollars being offered by the state government, the Kansas City Chiefs still will not commit to staying in Missouri. Team president Mark Donovan says they are still weighing the offers from Missouri and Kansas, both of which offer hundreds of millions of dollars. Really, we're talking about billion-dollar offers here in public funds for stadium projects. Missouri's offer would upgrade Arrowhead Stadium at taxpayer expense. Kansas would fund most of the construction of a new stadium. Royals have been very silent, but they have not committed to staying on the Missouri side as well. Okay, this is just gross. We can go into more depth here at 8:20 or so, but those Republican lawmakers who voted against this and pushed back on it are showing themselves to have been right and very smart in this. And good for them. The big thing right now is let's hope that they are learning lessons in case any other teams around the state or any other teams around the country can look at this and go, wait a minute, you allowed yourself to be pushed around by billionaires to the point where the billionaires have told 2 state governments what they're going to do, what they're going to give them from taxpayers, and what the timeline is going to be, and told both state governments, no, we're in charge, not you.
Yeah. And of course, those state governments have both said, oh, yes. Yes,
That's
sir.
right.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know why? Because I really think she likes me.
Yeah, absolutely. We could make a life together.
We can. I'm gonna get her out of this place, and we're gonna live happily ever after.
Take her away from this life.
It is going to be white picket fences and goalpost in the end zone with our money. God. Okay. All right. Republicans in Congress obviously still doing a victory lap on that $9 billion rescission package. And that's a great start right there. House Speaker Mike Johnson was on Kudlow on Fox Business yesterday saying, you know what? He's looking for more spending cuts.
We're planning Reconciliation 2.0 for the fall. And hopefully my plan is to have one again in the spring because you can attach one to each fiscal year.
Okay. That's great. If it is much, much, much bigger in cuts.
Yes. We need huge cuts.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah. I don't want another, hey, here's $5 or $9 billion. I am supportive and appreciate the $9 billion in cuts.
Sure. That's something.
I think it's a good first step.
Right.
It's a small step. But while we're dealing with the so-called big, beautiful bill that has a lot of really good stuff in it, but adds $3 trillion to the debt.
It's crazy.
Which we're going to have to pay at some point.
Yeah.
Then I want to start seeing hundreds of billions of dollars in cuts. So Republicans, this is your chance to step up, because unless the cuts actually squeeze something and an impact is actually felt, then you're not really cutting that much.
Yeah, really. I mean, look, if you just want to cut it by half, if you want to cut this year's deficit by half, you need $900 billion in cuts.
Yeah.
If you're going to give us 3 rescission bills, between now and the end of, I guess, the Trump administration, that's $300 billion per cut, not 90
or
not
9
or 9.
Exactly.
Gosh.
Yeah. All right. Let's see here. Other things going on. St. Louis City Sheriff Alfred
Loaded Dice
Montgomery makes another controversial decision. He has hired Sonia Jenkins Gray to be the department's new head of human resources. Now, in normal circumstances, this is not a news story and we're not talking about it.
Right.
Here's the situation. Jenkins Gray, you may remember that name. She used to be the director of personnel for the city at City Hall. She was fired by then Mayor Tashara Jones.
Okay.
Accused of a scandal, basically accused of using a city vehicle for personal reasons, and whether she did or not, I don't actually know. But so she's been fired by City Hall. She's now suing the city. She has an active lawsuit against the city.
Oh, okay.
And now she's been hired as the HR director for the city sheriff's department.
Okay. So, and she still has that active lawsuit.
That's still active in the courts. Okay.
Okay.
Now she may end up winning that, and it may be considered justified. So
that's entirely possible.
Now, she's also a member of the newly appointed state oversight board for the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department.
She is.
Yes. So she's part of the oversight board of the city police, but she's an executive and an administrator in the city sheriff's office, which are 2 separate law enforcement agencies.
Functions,
but there's that seems like a very odd set of facts. And Sheriff Montgomery thought, this would be a good idea.
Oh my gosh. Why would he step in it like that?
Yeah, that's like going out of your way to step into something.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it really is. All right. At a Wednesday White House press briefing, National Intelligence Director Tulsi Gabbard announced new documents related to the Obama administration's investigation into then candidate Donald Trump and his campaign, what they ended up calling collusion with Russia, which we now know was a hoax. And so basically she said, we've got documents to show they were trying to affect the results of the 2016 election. And earlier this week, President Trump even went so far as to accuse the former president of treason. Senator Ted Cruz was on the Ingram Angle on Fox, and he kind of goes through how the prosecution process could possibly begin.
He's not going to be prosecuted in all likelihood for treason, but where the criminal liability will start is with members of the Obama administration who went under oath before Congress and lied, flat out lied. We know Jim Clapper has lied.
Okay, so that's where there could possibly be prosecutions on this. I would not count on any of the political class actually going to jail, but
no,
they're not going to get Obama. It's not going to happen.
No, there are going to be some lawyers maybe hemmed up in it. There might be an investigator or two from one or two of the various agencies that were involved. I doubt there would even be a judge who knowingly who knew anything about what was going on, but rubber stamped it anyway. Nobody much higher than a lawyer, I think, is going to jail.
Yeah,
if anybody.
Right, exactly. So could there be some big names that end up facing charges? That could happen.
Maybe.
Clapper's already lawyered up, so, we'll see what happens with it. All right. A federal judge refuses to allow the release of transcripts from grand jury proceedings in the Jeffrey Epstein case. The Trump administration, through the Justice Department, filed that motion requesting the release. The DOJ still has many other files related to the Epstein case that have not been released at this point. And so basically the Trump administration has put itself into a position to say, look, we tried, even though grand jury hearings generally by law are sealed.
Yeah.
And they're sitting on a massive pile of information that they could release, and they're just choosing not to for whatever reason there. Okay. A couple other things here. The Franklin County Humane Society needs help because their air conditioning is not working and not working in a big part of their building.
This is the wrong time for that to happen.
Man. I mean, you heard Leah's forecast, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're talking, literal heat indices of 110 in the shade today.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here's what's going on. They're bringing in fans. They're moving the critters into, stuffing them into as many of the air conditioning parts of the building as possible. Hopefully they'll have that fixed next day or so. But even then, it's going to take a little bit to re-regulate that heat. So they're asking for foster homes to help out. Once again, this is Franklin County Humane Society. They say, even if you just foster for a day, they're not saying you have to commit to weeks or a month or anything like that. If you can foster for a day or two at a time, that would be a big help. So get more information at FCHSMO. That is Franklin County Humane Society, FCHSMO.org.
Somebody said that temporary fostering is kind of like taking care of your grandbabies.
There you go.
Because you get all the fun parts and then you kind of give them back.
Just give them back. Exactly. Okay. The Cardinals lost to the Rockies. That means they lost the series to the Rockies yesterday, 6-0 final score. They are back at home starting tonight. They begin a series with the Padres at 6:45. That game is on FanDuel. This is usually where I tell you where the Cards are in the standings. But in order to help you stay in a good mood, I'm not going to tell you that right now. Let's just say they're not winning.
There's no more. And all at once depart, no destination. Making cold my heart to fight your war. Stop it right now.
Mike Ferguson in the morning.
I have smelled alcohol in your breath. Anything else?
No.
No.
Besides my meds.
On NewsTalkSTL.
Hey there, Tim Jones here. When life changes, you need someone you can trust. That's Todd Sivia. At Sivia Law, they're dedicated to helping you through all of life's transitions, specializing in estate planning and elder law. With 7 convenient locations in the area, expert guidance is always close by. Call 833-995-WILL, 833-995-WILL, or visit CiviaLaw.com. Don't forget, first 10 people that tell them Tim Jones sent me get a free $300 strategy session. Sivia Law, helping you protect what matters most.
Tony Colombo here for All Solutions Pest Control, the team Christine and I trust to protect our home. We've used multiple services at multiple homes over the years, and I can tell you from all that experience, All Solutions is second to none. If you have a pest problem of any kind, or more importantly, just want to prevent a problem, All Solutions is the team to call. Learn more and take advantage of their incredible $67 introductory offer right now at allsolutionspestcontrol.com.
If a pest-free home is your goal, call All Solutions Pest Control.
Jamie Allman here, tossing and turning over retirement worries. You're not alone. 3 out of 4 Americans share your concern about having enough saved. But here's the thing. A comfortable retirement isn't out of reach, even if you're planning for 30 or 40 years ahead. Every day, Jeff Portman from the Gemini Wealth Group helps people avoid the critical mistakes that can derail their retirement. Build your path to financial confidence. Visit GeminiWealthGroup.com or call Jeff directly at 314-888-0123.
Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor. Member FINRA SIPC.
How do you find a roofing contractor you can trust? You could randomly pick one and cross your fingers. Or here's a better idea. Choose Expert Group Contracting. We're proud to use America's most trusted roofing brand, Owens Corning. That means we've been screened for reliability, professionalism, and customer service. Residential or commercial roofing, licensed, insured, and offering free estimates. Why take chances on your roof? Visit expertgroupcontracting.com. That's expert with an X, groupcontracting.com.
I think we should be able to have a civil conversation.
The news and talk that matters to St. Louis.
This conversation has completely made me crazy.
This is complete insanity.
News Talk STL.
Hey everyone, this is State Senator Nick Schroer. I am the host of Stand and Fight every Sunday night. Right now, let's hear more of Mike Ferguson in the Morning Show here on News Talk STL.
I can tell you that story out of Franklin County, the Humane Society there, which, by the way, I don't think they're affiliated with the National or the Humane Society of the U.S. I don't think so.
Yeah, the Humane Societies in Missouri, I think, are very independent. Versus
the Missouri one, which is like right down the road from us.
Yeah,
they are not affiliated like officially with them. The Humane Society of the United States is a garbage organization.
Yeah, don't.
Yeah, the local Humane Societies, I think it's more of a branding thing. But
They're
in
good.
Franklin County, I saw the news article. Then I just went and looked up their website. Yeah, they're having some trouble. Hopefully, they get that fixed. I mean, because obviously, I'm a sucker for animals.
Yes, we love the critters.
To the point where I think I might have risked making a bad decision this morning, like first thing when I got here.
Yeah.
Obviously I'm in before everybody else here. That's just the nature of the job. So I've got like this spot right by the door that I always park at. That's my spot.
Yeah.
And it's like Norm at the bar. That's my spot.
It is your
You know,
spot.
that's my spot.
That's true.
And so I get out and I look up at the door and there's this long-haired fluffy cat just sitting there. Kind of surveilling Maryland Heights,
sitting pretty like the cats
sitting
do.
right there. Yep. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
'cause I like animals. I like cats. And so I do the
natural response is you just,
and it kind of looks at me there for a second, and then it sort of like tenses up like it's gonna run. I'm like, oh, it's okay, buddy. It's okay. You're right.
I'm a friend. I'm a friend.
I'm holding the hand out. I'm like getting down in a
You get
crowd,
low.
so I'm not and that sits back up and it relaxes. And then it kind of, when I stood up to take a step, it kind of ran a few steps and then turned around and looked at me. And I'm like, no, it's okay. It's okay. And so I spent probably the first 2 minutes of my day trying to make friends with this cat.
Yes.
And I'm walking in, which didn't work. You know,
of course.
he didn't run off in a terror, but he stayed back and then he watched me for a little bit, or she watched me for a little bit and then just kind of went, yeah, I got other things to do. Just kind of meandered off. And I got, which I was really disappointed. I'm like, oh man, I want to make friends with a cat. And then I thought when I'm walking in, I'm like, that could have gone really, really bad depending on the animal. It is a wild feral animal just out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
I'm like, maybe that was really stupid on my part just because I like animals. That I instinctively was like, come here, buddy, come here, buddy. Well, Buddy may have wanted to bite my fingers off. I don't know.
Yeah, so it might be a good thing they Casey chiefed you. So
right, exactly.
See you later.
Teased me and then left.
Yes, but I don't think you did much differently than what most of us would have done.
Right.
We would have attempted to make friends with a cat.
Yeah.
I think it's almost a natural thing. I'm pretty sure there are memes on the internet saying like this is the proper response to encountering a cat in the wild. You try to make friends. You try to get it to get into your car.
Because I got a pretty good batting average when it comes to befriending the critters.
Yeah.
There's a cat that lives across the street, in Richmond Heights, Rocky. Rocky actually is domesticated, but he's an outdoor cat of the neighbors. But Rocky knows that if he sees me, that he can get one of Rosie's treats.
Oh, nice.
But he doesn't like everybody.
Right.
But he'll bump his head up against me and stuff. And that
I love
makes Rosie and Punky so mad.
Oh gosh, yeah. Don't. He's like, are you petting another cat?
He's going
cheater.
Yeah, basically what's going on.
Yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
So I made a questionable decision first thing walking in today.
First thing in the morning.
Yeah, because a feral cat was there, and my brain shut off. I'm like, oh friend. I'm like, maybe not. I mean, I don't,
But if not friend, why friendship?
That's right.
Yeah, finding out the cats actually domesticated themselves, it kind of makes sense when you meet them. But
yeah.
Also, toxoplasmosis. You got to be careful about that, Mike.
I have no idea what that is.
Really? Okay, so I'm not a parasitologist, whatever that word would be.
Okay.
But it, especially with stray animals,
right?
That sometimes they have a parasite that also can attract to humans, and it can actually cause cognitive functional issues.
So
Yeah.
why not say parasites instead of that other word?
Toxoplasmosis is the name of the condition it gives you
See,
if you get exposed to it.
I think you're showing off.
I mean, I've been spending too much time with Dr. Tobler.
I think that's what it is.
But no, and I agree.
Toblered us.
Which again, back to my possibly making a really bad choice that just fortunately worked out for me.
Well, maybe we could have benefited from a station studio cat.
I'm okay with that.
I would love
I'm allergic,
a studio cat.
but I'll put up with it.
Yeah. Oh man. All right. 8:23 right now. One of the things that we mentioned just a few minutes ago, because we were going through like all of the stuff regarding Trump that's in the news,
the Trump administration
and there
fire
are
hose.
so many huge things right now.
Mhm.
Yeah, like Gabe said, it's drinking from the freaking fire hose.
Mhm.
On this, one of those is the birthright citizenship thing,
right?
Which was headline news at one point recently.
Now it's a footnote.
It's buried among everything else, but this is a constitutional application interpretation issue. And so another federal judge upholds the lower court federal judge and says that President Trump's interpretation of the 14th Amendment is unconstitutional.
Right. This is significant because, first of all, the ruling itself is significant because it's speaking to the merits of the argument,
right,
as opposed to the right of the Trump administration to do this through the executive order process.
Yep.
So that means the question that's going to go before the Supreme Court isn't just a process issue, which we saw last time. Last time it was very much the process issue. Hey, you can't he, whatever. This time, the question is on the merits of the idea of birthright citizenship. That means the Supreme Court is essentially going to be forced into making an absolute decision on what that means, and that could have wide-ranging implications.
Now, I'm totally in favor of ending the birth tourism and that sort of loophole. I don't think anybody that's born to non-citizens should be just given citizenship.
Yeah, but see, that's the argument, though. That's the point of contention.
So am I wrong then to also say I'm not necessarily against the idea of blocking an executive order from affecting a constitutional amendment?
See, that's the thing is you don't want to be in a position where every time you elect a president that you redefine what the Constitution means,
right,
and how you apply it,
right?
Because if you can do that to the 14th Amendment, listen, every Democratic and some of the Republican presidents would love to redefine what the Second Amendment means.
Yes.
And the First Amendment,
right,
what that means. So that's what we have to be careful of. Now, so combining those two things, because you've got, does the president have the authority to say that? So eventually what's going to happen here, and that's why this could be a silver lining on this ruling, if you agree with President Trump, is that his argument is that the 14th Amendment means that just because you're born here, you're not a citizen.
Right.
Now, remember, that's been kind of the accepted understanding of the 14th Amendment for decades.
Yes.
Why have we had such an illegal immigration debate and argument? The anchor baby argument has gone back to the 70s, 80s, 90s.
Yeah. And the idea was, well, we got to keep them out because then they can have anchor babies, and then it's out of our hands because
they were born here, and therefore they're a citizen, because it was never a thought really to argue what the 14th Amendment actually meant and how it applied. And now Donald Trump says, I've got an executive order saying this is how it applies. And that's what the Supreme Court is going to be forced to rule on, is what does it actually mean? So it could be a matter of, do the ends justify the means if you get the Supreme Court ruling you're looking for? But let me warn you, I don't know how the Supreme Court would rule on this. I really don't.
I think there are, and because we're looking at it's a quote unquote conservative majority, and the conservative take within the judicial branch is this idea of original intent and originalism, right? Is the idea that when the framers crafted the Constitution, they had an idea of what each of the amendments meant, what each of the provisions were intended to do, and the current interpretation of of the Constitution must fall in line with the original intent of it. If you want to make changes, there's a mechanism to do that. That's the idea of the originalism within I think most of the conservative members of the Supreme Court. So there are, generally speaking, the originalist construction of the Constitution has a very specific ruling that you would have on any particular rule, question that comes before them.
Yeah.
In this case, there are two originalist interpretations of this amendment. One of them says, no, we meant anybody born here, is a citizen. And one is that, no, we meant people who fall under the jurisdiction of the United States, which has its
mean one or both of your parents were citizens,
right?
Is one of the interpretations that's been, because this does go back to slavery,
right?
I mean, this goes back to no, slaves are citizens,
right?
They were under the jurisdiction and they were unjustly denied their rights and access under the Constitution. And so
this
that's
amendment
where it's
corrects
complicated.
That, right?
Yeah, this amendment was to correct that. And so I could see the Supreme Court going either way on the actual merits of the 14th Amendment.
The conservative members going either way.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Now, I remember back before the elections happened that Missouri was working on changing the wording of our state constitution to say all citizens of Missouri, and change that to only citizens of Missouri.
For voting.
Oh, right, for voting. Yes, that's
voting.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Now, since I believe you need a 2/3 majority of Congress to actually get an amendment changed or updated, would this be something that potentially at the state level that we could add to our Constitution, saying you must, you cannot be considered a resident or citizen of Missouri unless you have at least one legal citizen parent?
Probably not.
Okay.
Because of the interstate aspect of the Constitution. We cannot declare somebody a citizen or not a citizen in one state that
it would have an effect,
carry over to other states.
Yeah. Because let's say, you're denied citizenship in Missouri, and then you move to another state, or you go to college.
I'm just going to go to Iowa. I'm a citizen there.
Right. The interstate commerce, restrictions, I think, kind of
right.
Yeah.
That so that's why this has to be done at this level.
Has to be done at the federal level.
On Rumble, let's see here. Comment. It feels like this, meaning disregarding the Constitution, is what's been happening for a long time. Yep. No argument here. And now it's time to clarify the true intentions rather than the wonky interpretations.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the things that Trump is forcing.
Yes.
The president is forcing, is that on something like this, the Supreme Court's going to have to make a decision at some point. Now, we're probably looking at a decision in the next term. So we're looking at a 2026 probably decision on this by the time it moves from court to court. That's likely when we're looking at this. But in the 14th Amendment, there's ambiguity because people have interpreted it so differently. And at some point, and I think it's a good thing, we're going to have an answer. Now, the answer we get may not be what a lot of people like, but one way or the other, I think we're going to have some clarity on it.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
I'm meteorologist Leah Hill with your first alert forecast. Afternoon temperatures nearing 98 degrees under mostly sunny skies. And it's just going to feel hotter. Once you factor in that humidity, which is high today, it'll feel more like 105 degrees to 110 degrees. That is the heat index. Keep in mind, it's calculated in the shade, which means in direct sunlight, it's going to feel even hotter. Please limit time outdoors. That's your first alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Leah Hill.
Fox News commentary.
Democrats don't seem to get it. If you're in this country illegally, you are in fact up for detention and then deportation. I'm Tommy Lahren. More next.
Sponsored by AxeCap Ventures. America, listen up. Gold prices are breaking records. With inflation raging and central banks hoarding, every American should own gold. And like President Trump said, whoever holds the gold makes the rules. AxeCap Ventures owns one of Nevada's largest undeveloped gold deposits and trades for pennies on the dollar. This could be your way to ride the gold boom. AxeCap trades under GARLF on the OTC. Visit axecapventures.ca today.
Preferred and purposely misleading narrative from the Democrats is that those that are in this country illegally should not be detained and deported so long as they haven't been caught red-handed committing a heinous crime. Well, that's not the law, and it's not what we voted for. You don't need to commit further crimes once you've already come here illegally to be detained and deported. When Democrats cry and whine that ICE shouldn't be detaining illegals at the Home Depot or on the farms, what they're really saying is that we should all just play Russian roulette with the illegal alien invaders and give them the benefit of the doubt until they rape and murder someone, and then, even then, Democrats will still often turn the other cheek. These people were not vetted when they came to this country illegally. Why should they be given the benefit of the doubt? Someone please tell me. Now, the benefit of the doubt is given to family, friends, and milk that's a couple days old, not to illegal alien invaders. I'm Tommy Lahren, and you can watch my show, Tommy Lahren is Fearless, at Outkick.com.
Hey, folks, the Clayton Sleep Institute and my friend Dr. Ojal back supporting free common sense conservative radio. ClaytonSleep.com. Treating the full range of adult and pediatric sleep disorders from sleep apnea to insomnia, restless leg syndrome, periodic limb movement, and narcolepsy. What an awesome place. New comfy setting for the sleep lab. ClaytonSleep.com, 314-645-5855. Better sleep, better life.
Newstalk STL, the Hammond Institute for Free Enterprise, and the Young America's Foundation welcome Steve Forbes to Lindenwood University for an inspiring evening on how free enterprise and entrepreneurship make America great. Discover how free markets and small business drive innovation, prosperity, and opportunity. Thursday, September 18th at Lindenwood University Scheidegger Center for the Arts. And this in-person event is free. Reserve your tickets now at hammondinstitute.org. Brought to you by Mid-Rivers and West News magazines.
Hey, firearms enthusiast, looking for a family and veteran-owned shop with a wide selection of products and services? Head to DG Firearms, 115 Business Highway 61 North in Bowling Green. DG Firearms has been your one-stop shop for custom ARs, Cerakoting, laser engraving, gunsmithing, suppressors, ammo, and reloading supplies. DG Firearms, 115 Business Highway 61 North in Bowling Green, and online at dgfirearmsllc.com.
Conservative talk for St. Louis.
It's your patriotic right and duty.
The government needs to step up and do its job.
This is News Talk STL.
It's well-balanced conversation.
News, analysis, opinion.
Hey, this is Larry Connors. Make sure you're listening later today at 6 o'clock on News Talk STL for my show, Larry Connors USA. Now, back to Mike Ferguson in the morning.
All right, Uber is, it was Uber, right? Uber's in the news today.
Oh, again?
They put a new policy out that basically says we're going to allow people to list gender preferences when being paired with a driver or a passenger. So if you want to put it more bluntly, we're going to allow people to discriminate. And I mean that in the actual sense of the word. I'm not saying that pejoratively. I'm saying that denotatively, that we're going to allow people to discriminate and say, I only want to do business with a woman or, well, frankly, with a woman, because there's no option for this for men. So here's what's going on is they're testing this new preference as part of their app, that female drivers can say, I only want to have female customers. And female passengers who want to ride can go on there and say, I only want a female driver. In other words, I will not do business with somebody if they're male.
Well, that doesn't really affect me too much because I always identify as a female when it's convenient for me. So
see, that part is kind of funny. I thought about that too, because I looked through the actual press release itself and then read the news articles on it and the quotes and all that. And it doesn't address the LGBTQ aspect of this. And so the whole thought behind it, and I know some guys are going to be probably offended by this, but their whole thought was, well, women feel safer without men around. A female driver may feel safer if she says, I don't want men, but I still want to drive. I don't want any men in my vehicle. Or a female passenger, may say, I just feel safer if a woman's driving me as opposed to a man. Well, in almost every other circumstance when it comes to business, that's illegal. because that's discrimination. I got to tell you, I don't have a problem with this at all. You're an independent contractor, and if you say, I don't want to do business, I don't want to pick up Jerome, or I don't want to pick up Mike, or I don't want to pick up Gabe, then that just means you don't make any money from Jerome or Mike or Gabe. That's your choice. There is a consequence for your choice. You're making a calculated decision based on the ROI, and the return could be financial, or it could be a feeling of personal safety, or whatever it is. I think you've got the right to pick and choose whoever you want, especially in that setting. And I think the reality is that probably a lot of the drivers are doing that as well, because they don't have to take every ride that comes their way.
See, I'm a little bit more conflicted. So
Yeah.
I if this was customers saying I can choose whether or not I want,
that's part of it. It goes both ways.
Yeah.
Yep.
Then I completely, and I do agree that it is probably more dangerous in general for women to be by themselves during certain times of the day, during certain occupations, than it would be for a man to do the same thing. But that being said, I've had issues in the past with my vehicle or something that goes on that I need to be somewhere, and I try early enough to get on there, and there's just not enough drivers. So the counterpoint to that is, in some areas, if there are mostly female or enough female drivers, then it's going to just create an issue for the customer base. And then where do we go from there? Why should I be discriminated against if it's noon and I got somewhere to be because I can't use my vehicle, or I want to go for a trip and walk around? Now you can just skip me over, and then I'm stuck.
And men are the ones who are going to be affected the most.
Oh yeah.
Most of the drivers of ride services are men, and we're talking into the 90-something%. Both Uber, Lyft, they both say that they call it a problem. They can't find enough female drivers.
Yeah.
That's just basically the way life in the economy is right now. And so for female drivers, I don't know what the percentage of female passengers is, but my guess is it's pretty high. I would think probably maybe even, I don't know, maybe 40, 50%. I have no idea, but I know that women travel, close to the same rates as men do. And so it's very possible that, so you're going to have basically, if a lot of women decide to do the self-selection, gender selection thing, then you're looking at the female drivers having a much larger share of the market to themselves if a lot of women go for this. And that, frankly, means that there could be a longer line for the female driven Lyft, like the women's bathroom, much longer line. So that could affect that because there just aren't enough female drivers. But with men, it also means that there's a certain percentage of the drivers that will be taken out, and you may not have access to something as quickly as you want.
Yeah. And then again, that goes into the idea of how are they defining what a female is, because we know that there's, for some strange reason, a debate on what has historically been not up for debate. And so would it be the case that I can't sue them for discrimination?
Right.
But if I put a wig on and start claiming that I'm a female and I was denied my family right to an Uber ride, that now becomes a discrimination case, and then I just, and again, that's sounding sensitive, but if something, and I sympathize with people that have had bad things happen to them, but if something is causing you such emotional turmoil and anxiety about providing equal access to your service, then why not go to maybe Uber Eats? Why not go to something that would not require you to have a stranger inside of your vehicle, rather than drive around in a occupation where you're gonna have strangers in your vehicle?
Ryan on Rumble says, if a female decides she only wants to drive females, A-okay. But if some man thinks he's a female and that woman does not want to drive him, the outrage videos that we will see online will be fabulous.
Exactly.
Yeah, they didn't get
Great
into that
point.
can of worms, but that I was thinking that too. I was like, okay, you guys are woke leftist companies. That's like you've staked your some of your identity on this sort of nonsense. So what happens when there is the dude who says, call me Susan, because I feel pretty. I'm call me a woman because I demand it. And the female driver says, no. When I decided I just want females, I meant I just want females. So they didn't address that in their announcement. They didn't address that in the news articles and in the interviews, but they're also on record as saying, if anybody is disrespectful or transphobic or homophobic, which are made up words that mean nothing, But if anybody does that, we have the right to refuse service and kick you off the platform entirely. So their corporate position is that the dude with the 5 o'clock shadow wearing a sundress is really a woman. Are they going to allow their female contractors, the female drivers, to say, no, I don't want him?
Yeah.
So what do they do in that situation?
And again, with, let's say gay men, right? Like there
Sure.
are gay men that I've met that have had bad experiences, because of their whatever sexuality. And so if they feel safer being driven by a female driver instead of a male driver because of potential things, why are they not taking into
They
consideration?
don't have that option. Yep. That is not part of their option.
So let's reverse this as well then. So if I started driving Uber, and I've actually had some crazy experiences with some of these, college age sorority girls,
Mhm.
they get too drunk. They don't really control their behaviors very well. If I want to say, it's 1 a.m, people might be coming out of Ballpark Village and they might be very intoxicated. Can I turn off the females and only pick up the guys in the area? Or
You
is that,
cannot. No,
I cannot.
No.
Yeah.
But the females could turn off and say, I don't want the drunk guy. He may try to grope me. He may try. And see, that's the thing is that I get the safety worry.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I 100% agree
And
with
the
that.
fact of the matter is that when it comes to aggressive behavior, men are more aggressive than women.
Yeah.
Period.
Oh, absolutely.
Not that women can't be, but that's just a biological fact.
Yeah.
So I would default to, it's a free market and there are immediate consequences by you choosing to rule out a massive part of the population to do business with. You have an immediate consequence and maybe that's worth it for you. So my position is, do I feel a little insulted if a woman says men are just too dangerous and scary? Sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I am far more interested in maximizing people's economic freedom. And if that's what they want to do, well, then the punishment is you don't get my money, and you're okay with that if there are enough women to fill that void who only want to do business with you.
Okay. Yeah, I can definitely understand that argument then, because I guess maybe I'm getting too caught up on the quote unquote discriminatory
Right.
aspect of it, because it just
But it is a discrimination,
because this is ultimately, even if they are independent contractors, they are still a representative of a larger
Yeah,
conglomeration.
they're on that app. Yeah. They
so-
got to abide by the terms and conditions.
So I'm assuming then that it would just not show that particular Uber driver or that particular customer whenever in a note versus it being like grayed out so you can't click on it or something, because
Mhm.
that would be even more insulting if you're running late and it's like, well, not me, but I don't know. It's good mental exercise, and I guess we'll see
Yeah.
how it goes. But I can immediately imagine some lawsuits might be.
Yeah,
coming out
I
about
think
that.
that's inevitable. By the way, Jay Cause on Rumble says they can't address it because if they did, they would have to admit there are only two sexes, because at the center of this, it's about keeping women safe. So that's so true. They may have painted themselves into a corner and created the problem with their earlier woke leftist stuff. And the reality is that I have a feeling that, they can see who's requesting rides. I think,
Mhm.
they can even cancel. I've had a number of times somebody started a ride and then canceled on me halfway there, which really pisses me off. But that's probably because, oh, look, here's a much more profitable one.
Yeah.
I'm going to divert over there to that. And we can see the drivers when they connect with you. So my guess is that there's probably some of that going on anyway. Sometimes freedom is a little messy. Sometimes freedom is, in this case, let's call it what it is, discriminatory in the free market.
Yeah, men, do better so I can get a Uber ride when I need one. But
From
anyway,
anybody, just get me to the airport.
Also, quick reminder, it is last call for your Flashback Friday requests. So go ahead and send them to Jerome at NewsTalkSTL.com. We want to hear your favorite movie soundtrack from an 80s movie.
Experience the true flavors of Mexico at Dos Primos, O'Fallon's premier Mexican restaurant. From sizzling fajitas to homemade caldo de pollo, every dish is crafted with the freshest ingredients and traditional recipes, all made fresh daily in our kitchen. Cool down with our famous margaritas or your favorite cerveza, while our friendly staff makes you feel like family. Dine in or carry out. Visit DosPrimosMexicanRestaurant.com or find us on North Main in O'Fallon.
Hey, Jamie Ullman here with my common sense brother, Rob Very, owner of STL Bath and Renovation. And let me tell you something, your home is your castle, but so is your bathroom. Rob, how can you make it beautiful?
Jamie, if you're tired of cleaning, you love the tile, but you hate the grout, we can give you man-made or natural stone in your bathroom for your floors and walls, but no grout. Easy to maintain.
And beautiful. All kinds of selections as well.
More than you can count.
STLBR.com, St. Louis Bath and Renovation, STLBR.com. Thanks, Rob.
Thanks, Jamie.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
Speaking to former U.S. Senator Jim Talent, I think we can safely say that Greta Thunberg has officially jumped the shark.
I have to tell you, how you react to this girl is a real tell. And Tim, can you imagine? I mean, I have two girls. Imagine if I'd come home and one of them starts lecturing me in this fashion.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps, weekdays at 4 on News Talk STL.
Connor Roofing, you can count on Connor. Connor Roofing is now a 2-time winner of the National Best of the Best Award for customer satisfaction for roofing, storm damage restoration, siding, gutters, both residential and commercial. Please visit ConnorRoofing.com for an estimate. And remember, you can count on Connor.
Join Aaron Tarlow every Sunday night at 9 on News Talk STL for Shall Not Be Infringed, your voice for Second Amendment rights and firearms education. Brought to you by DG Firearms, Kevin's Guns, Osage County Guns, and Full Circle Reloading and Firearms.
The Vic Porcelli Show.
Thursday is all about the Vietnam veterans. We'll be at the Wall That Heals at Jefferson Barracks Park from 9 till noon for the Vietnam vets.
Weekday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL.
Hi, it's Randy Tobler here. Pour a big cup of coffee and catch my show every Saturday morning from 6 to 9. Right now, it's back to Mike Ferguson in the morning here on News Talk STL.
Did you see this thing out of Kansas City on this grocery store?
Oh, something going on?
Oh my goodness. Gabe was fired up about this a little bit ago. And it's back in the news, not even because of Kansas City. I think the guy, the mayoral candidate in New York City, that's Mamdani guy.
Yeah.
He's apparently about to win the mayor's race in New York City by overtly saying, elect me and you get a socialist government.
Yeah, he's the one. So he's the one that said he wants to raise the minimum wage to $35 an hour. He wants to do the city funded grocery store.
Exactly.
And that he wants to focus on excessively white, excessively rich neighborhoods for the whatever his wealth distribution long-term plan is going to be.
Right. And a big part of what he's arguing, you mentioned the grocery stores, and that's what's happening in Kansas City. They've got a government-run grocery store.
Wow.
And it's made the news because the local TV stations were responding to people. They're saying this thing has sucked for years.
Oh, imagine that.
Yeah. Now remember, I used to live in Kansas City. I know Kansas City.
Yeah, my cousin lives out that way.
Yeah. The area this grocery store is in is not a great area. I mean, just put it that way. It's an economically, it's behind economically would be a polite way to say it. Let's put it that way. Because I don't want to be rude and say it's the hood. Okay. So I won't say that. So there's this, and it's an actual brand restaurant. It's called Sunfresh, or no restaurant, grocery store called Sunfresh, which I don't think we don't have any of those around here. I've never seen a Sunfresh here, but it is a chain of grocery stores. But here's the thing is the strip mall is owned by the city government and it's run by the city government. And the building is owned by the city government, and hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars of subsidies for this business have been provided by the city government at the demand of a very loud left-wing socialist activist movement in Kansas City. Because there were all these complaints like you see in a lot of different urban areas. It's a food desert. Capitalism's failed. The free market's failed. Because look, because we don't have what we want, therefore it's failed. It's not the market isn't there for this. It's we need it, we want it, we deserve it, therefore somebody must provide it. And that's what this guy's winning support on in New York City. You want it, you need it, other people have it, you don't, therefore elect me and I'll make someone give it to you.
See, so from an economic standpoint, I'm trying to wrap my head around how this was even supposed to work. So if it's a government-owned grocery store, that means tax money is being taken from people to then supply, fund, keep running the grocery store. I don't know the laws around rejecting, like, food stamps, EBT, WIC, that kind of thing. But so I'm assuming people that are on government assistance are
they
going there as
take all
well.
that. Yeah.
So, and then do they put sales tax on top of what, like, the goods that, I mean,
That's yeah.
so it's basically just let's just take everybody's taxes, put it into one area. And then even with all of that, you still could not find a way of keeping it in a surplus, everything available to everybody kind of
because
method.
because the news stories were so ridiculous. It's almost it would be almost like a parody movie. You look at the news reports that came out of Kansas City, shelves are empty.
Wow.
I mean, empty, as in they don't have food to sell there because the government can't run a grocery store. And to your point, you've got a customer base which is heavily subsidized through these benefits. So the government's providing the customers with money. The government is funding the grocery store to buy the stuff, to sell it to the people that the government's funded. And they can't keep food on the shelves.
From a subsidized industry like the food industry.
Right.
Is.
I mean, I used to be on the board of aldermen of a suburb that had a grocery store that said if it weren't for the welfare benefits, the SNAP stuff, food stamps, they wouldn't be in business because almost 50% of their revenue came from the government through snaps. I mean, that's how much it was.
Jeez.
And so in this area, I'm sure it's much higher that, if not most of it, majority of it. And so you have a built-in customer base who's being given money by somebody else, by the government, and they still cannot they still cannot keep food on the shelves because government's the one running it. You have a completely captive market. All you have to do is keep stuff there. Even if it's not what they want, they have to buy it because they can't go buy it somewhere else, and they can't do it. And they say capitalism is the one's failing.
Because capitalism is when the government takes your money and then redistributes it. And I try to do my best to support farmers markets, which to my knowledge are very much about the individual bringing what they have produced to the market. How is it that a group of farmers and people that make their own produce and the people that are involved in that, how is it that they can continually find ways of keeping their stock and supply going and the government cannot? And then if that is not the biggest argument against socializing, I mean, yes, food deserts are sometimes a problem. Again,
it is a real thing,
due to actual, crime of the area and other sort of factors.
But that's responding to the market.
Yes,
and it's not an easy problem to solve.
No, and it is definitely complicated. But at the end of the day, are people in New York not looking at these examples and saying, wait a second, we have even more people than that need to be fed. We have even larger problems with areas of crime and poverty. And our government, already New York has not shown any sort of level of prioritizing the needs of New Yorkers over the needs of illegals and other groups.
Well,
so
he's doubling down on the policies that have left tens of thousands of apartment units. And in a city like New York, apartments are far more normal. In the Midwest, it's like you want to buy a home.
Yeah.
In places like New York, a lifetime of rental is very normal. That's just part of the economy out there.
Yeah.
And there are tens of thousands of apartment units that are empty because it's less expensive for the owners to leave them empty than it is to do all the upgrades and repairs to stay within code, because they're not allowed to charge a market rent because of socialist policies that say you can't raise the rent more than this, or your rent stabilized and you're not allowed to charge more. And they say, well, but if I spend $50,000 upgrading or renovating this, I'm never going to make that money back. It's cheaper just to leave it vacant.
Wow.
And that's documented. And then you see in Kansas City, the same thing. So St. Louis is electing people, and that was one of the things like Tashara Jones, all of them, we're going to put an emphasis on affordable housing. We're going to have more rules, more regulations. We're going to have more restrictions, and they're going after landlords. Landlords now, if you have a rental property in the city, you have to take a packet of information to your tenant that says, this is how you sue me if you get mad at me. The city requires me to give this to you. And the city is funding a department whose job it is to go after landlords. And so St. Louis is just a couple baby steps behind doing what New York has implemented. And right now you can't find enough people to rent there. And so eventually what happens when the people leave and the housing access leaves as well?
Yeah, that's not good. But why does it just keep feeling like Dems and lefties are suffering a severe case of Stockholm syndrome? Why would you possibly? How could you possibly look at the past several decades of large blue majorities in large cities that were once prosperous in the eye of the world in some cases, see what's become of that, and then still say, yeah, I'll vote for that again? I mean, come on. The free market is how you have your own autonomy and your own individualism. I don't get it.
K through 12 indoctrination, orange man bad, the academy continuing the activism and indoctrination. This isn't accidental and it's not immediate. This goes back to the Alinsky tactic. That's generational. That's why it's going to be so hard for us to break the mindset. We've got to educate the younger generations.
The Herzog Tomorrow Foundation provides private school tuition scholarships through Missouri's new Most Scholars program to cover the cost of accessible, high-quality schooling.
Hi, this is Myella Esser with the Herzog Tomorrow Foundation. Our private school tuition scholarships wouldn't be possible without the